Ooh, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to this very awesome Ultimate Edition of the Ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow right here on John Roca's Outlaw Nation YouTube channel. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into all the fun stuff that we got planned for everybody today. Apologies for everyone out there who's expecting to see Chandru on the show today. Unfortunately, had a bit of a scheduling conflict, so we will not be able to have him on the show. However, we are still uber excited to have Lights Out Laura Kelly on the show to break down her Star Wars match. And also, remember that Streamlabs and Super Chats are available throughout the show, but we ask that you keep it to match-related things today. We'll get to some storyline stuff later, but just for the first bit of the show, let's keep it to the match and get to the action. But of course, it's me, Colin. And now, joining me is the rest of the hosts of the show. How's John Barr doing today?
John Barr's doing pretty good. So happy to be part of another episode. I'm sure we'll keep up the now regular tradition of me having to move my microphone 3 to 5 times every episode. But I'm still very excited to be here. And yeah, like you were saying, you know, if you can send in super chats, that'd be super great. It really helps out the channel. And we'll read out your comments. Like, for example, Larry Lease, who already sent in a super chat saying, Laura, you are a rock star, which is very true, although technically I think you can only call her a capital S star now. I don't know exactly all the deal with the copyright about how much we can say the word rock star in the Schmoedown anymore, so you might have to be careful about that lingo. Otherwise, right on, Larry.
Well, X is going to give it to ya, but Soul is always dropping that knowledge. The librarian joining us. I feel like I talk to you, like, more than my mom now, so how are you doing? I feel like I know, but
I'm doing good. It's been a really nice day here in Miami. Sorry, Boggs, that it's still nice and warm here. And then also, John right now is in the lead of the 5 of us for predicting matches.
Sorry. Can you repeat that really quickly?
John's in the lead right now. So how's this going to go forward? What is our predictions going to be going forward? Because John's winning. Who thought that was going to happen? Not I.
Okay, well, let's relax.
At least Boggs has 2 weeks to get his predictions together for the first week of matches coming up. But, sir, how are you?
I'm good, everyone. What's happening? What's happening, YouTube? Hello, everyone in the chat. Yeah, it's good, man. Obviously, we had the first matches back, you know, Star Wars and Inner Geekdom. Can't wait to talk about it with Laura, of course. And yeah, just happy to see you guys. And yeah, let's get it on.
Boom.
Boom.
I cannot wait to get down to business, because this, to me, is like what a Star Wars Inner Geekdom doubleheader, to me, is what Schmoedown's all about. We get into this because we're all geeky. So without further ado, we gotta bring on some questions first, though, right? Before we get to our guests, we're getting new. I'm getting used to the training.
I was excited then.
I know. I'm sorry. I wasted the good one on you, Sonny. I wasted the good one on you. Soul, please read the best comments from last week's episode.
So we got a comment from Jeremy Miller saying, fantastic show. Kate is by far the funniest manager. I'm looking forward to the new character and the den. So look out, other managers. They're saying Kate's the funniest. Got to step up your game here. And then the other one is from Darren Wright going, what a fantastic show, guys. Getting better and better weekly. I will make a point of being here live next week. So I hope you're in the chat, Darren, because we miss you when you're not here.
I'm looking. Don't you think I'm not looking, Darren?
Guys, if you want to be, you know, shouted out on the show, drop a solid comment. That's not included the chat during this live stream. So if you're here live, we would really appreciate it if after the video went up, you went back in, dropped a comment, and let us know what your favorite moment of the stream was tonight. Really helps us out going forward with all the YouTubes and all that stuff. Well, now since I've already wasted the first one, it's time for round number 2. Let's bring in our guest. She is the most terrifyingly accurate person. One of the most accurate people I've ever seen in the Schmoedown. There's a sense of she just knows. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce your #1 contender in the Star Wars division. Lights Out, Laura Kelly. Welcome to the Ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow. Come on down. Ba-da-ba-da. feel like Bob Barker's here, you know.
It's good to be back. I'm excited to be doing after show stuff and talking about a Schmoedown again. It's great.
Let's go. This is going to be exciting. We've been waiting. I mean, to be honest, we've been, after the weeks in between the draft and spectacular, it's kind of like, oh, the off season for us is like, what are we going to talk about? Boggs, last week, like, whew, we got some matches this week, and we are excited. So we're excited. Like, to have you be in the first one was just stellar because it's bringing the level of competition up, and we're just excited to have you. I can't wait. This is great. Star Wars competitors to me are like the rock stars of the league because you guys, there's so your minds are just so deadly when it comes to it, and you only miss one question. And if you miss one question in a singles match, you're probably gonna win. But if you miss one question in a Star Wars match, high probability you're gonna lose. So I mean, this whole Star Wars Schmoedown thing has been going for probably the last 2-3 years. But how did you find the Schmoedown, Laura, or how did it find you?
You know, it's kind of strange. It's weird to think back on it, but it all sort of started with Star Wars Celebration in 2019. I think that doesn't seem like long enough ago because I feel like now I've been doing this forever. But yeah, leading up to Star Wars Celebration, my friend and I had just launched a podcast. We do Star Wars trivia on our podcast. I saw that there was going to be a trivia thing at Star Wars Celebration, and I was like, oh, we should see if we can get involved in this. And when I was able to get in touch with Christian, he was basically just like, hey, at this point, I only have one extra spot open. So if you guys want to talk about it, figure out amongst, you know, you and your co-host who wants to do it, just let me know when we'll get one of you on. So it was really cool. It kind of came out of nowhere because it was like 2 months before Star Wars Celebration. And I was just like, oh, I guess I need to actually like start preparing for this because like the trivia we do on our show, like a lot of times it's just Trivial Pursuit because we're just too lazy to write our own questions. So it's, you know, the level of difficulty is fairly varying, but it was really time to sort of hunker down at that point and get into it. But that's kind of how I found it. At that point, like I think I'd gone to Star Wars Celebration, the one before that, and there was a Schmoedown that happened at that celebration, but I was brand new to the Star Wars fandom. That was my first ever celebration. That was like my first ever convention ever. So I didn't even know like what the Schmoedown was at that point. Like I wasn't in it yet.
And at that point, Sam Witwer was the king, right? I mean, we all just felt like he was going to be here forever. He was never going to let it go, and he let it go. And for Damon to hold in the belt like this is just one of the most incredible feats. It's up there with Dan Murrow when we talk about, you know, Schmoedown in general. But Soul, you saw this last night. I mean, this was an incredible match. I mean, by the way, guys, we are going to spoil the matches. If you have not seen the pay-per-view last night, please go watch it and then come back and watch this. Okay, that'd be nice. Thank you. Just had to say that before somebody in the comments was like, "Yeah, spoiled the match." Well, what else we gonna talk about? So, I mean, what to you was like your anticipation of this match? I mean, what else you want? Like, this is high competition you're gonna get.
So, speaking about John being the one who's predicted the best so far of the two matches, being in the lead.
Just one more time. One more time.
I just want to get John's ego up just a little bit. But the rest of us have 1 point, and my 1 point was going for Laura Kelly. And not only because I'm a swag fan, but also because she has the highest accuracy in Star Wars over Alex Damon. So that was my expectations going in this, is that she wasn't going to miss a question. And then that's what happened. That's how it went.
I appreciate the confidence.
you exude it. There's a moment where I look forward in a player, and especially when it comes to IG and Star Wars, where your recall is so fast. It's just ridiculous. Like, it is the mental. I mean, Christian said it last night in the match. The mental athletes that we have in this league of your recall ability is just insane. I could go all day on it, but we gotta talk about this match. Round one, getting into the action. You go perfect, Laura. You go perfect. Like, what is it? What are you feeling when she doesn't nail Radis? Because that's kind of that's it, right? That's the second. Or there's a little nick in the armor. Boom, you're already up 2 or 3, or you're up. You're up 3. She missed 2 questions. You're up 3 at the end of round 1.
You know, at that point, I almost made the same mistake that she did. And I was messaging with a few people about it later because basically what happened is that I've encountered that before, that actually almost that same exact question in like a virtual trivia. Every once in a while, if I find like a Star Wars virtual trivia I can use as like a practice run, I'll sometimes attend those. And that was almost the exact same question I had heard before. And I got it wrong in the virtual trivia. And I've been known to go perfect in those too. So I was like, it was upsetting when I got that wrong in a virtual trivia where I feel like I'm holding myself to an even higher standard. So because I had had that question before it, I kind of knew what was coming and what they were expecting us to write down and how they sort of are expecting you to want the question to be harder, to go for the deeper cut, especially since we were seeing a lot of like, in the tournament last year, we saw a lot of round ones that had like a random 3 or 5 pointer question thrown into round one. And I think we were both kind of waiting for that to come. And maybe that was sort of my justification of like, oh, that's what she was expecting. And I probably would have made the same mistake if I had not already encountered a similar question in the past year.
Yeah, and I for me, Radis, the immediate recall for that is I know it's like Ken Knapsack's favorite person in all of Star Wars. So I go back to that immediately. I know he loves Radish, and that's his guy. So that sticks out to me. Boggs, I mean, you see this round one, perfect round, baby. How'd you do?
Yeah, I didn't actually mark down how I done, but I just want to mention as well to Laura the promo that you done. You know, these as well, not that you done Chronic done, but you know, looking at it, you've got studio footage, you've got live footage, you've got digital footage. You know, there's a lot of stuff that your hair was different. I noticed in the promo as well, so that was cool. Are they Chance's glasses by any chance? That you still does he just lend them out to all of his former friends and stuff? But no, I just thought, yeah, no, it was just a fun promo. Seeing you guys like I said, the live stuff and the digital stuff, so that was a good mix. But yeah, what do you think of the promo and stuff, Laura?
Oh, Nerd Chronic killed it. He always kills it. I mean, there's really nothing any of us have to do. We just have to look at a camera and say anything, and it doesn't matter what you say because he's going to make it look good anyway. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that they were posting some of those, or they were including some of that previous footage, because a lot of it is like, it's just interesting to look back on and think back on it and think back on like how, I guess in a sense, like how, whether I looked it or not, I probably didn't, how confident I was in my knowledge at that point, and how now where I am, it doesn't feel like I had earned it at that point. I'm just like, all the stuff that I didn't know, I don't know how I walked in to any of those rooms at any point. Like, it's really weird to think about now, given how much work I've put in since all of those matches. So it feels good. It feels rewarding. It was sort of interesting to see the journey, because I hadn't really given it much thought, and I don't like to go back and watch my own matches. I think I finally forced myself to watch Spectacular like right before the tournament last year, and it was like excruciating. So it's hard.
There's something about fake it till you make it. If you believe it, it's gonna come true. And so that's basically what we've seen through your trajectory of the movie Trivia Schmoedown, is that you had that confidence coming in, and then now you're going lights out. You have the perfect nickname because you are lights out.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I really like the new nickname. Honestly, when I first got the Lumines, I was kind of just like, okay, that's. I was pretty indifferent to it. And getting drafted by Corruption brought a lot of new opportunities. In the opportunity to go heal and to sort of bring out some new stuff was one of the things I was really excited about. I think when I first joined the game, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could like do that? But I like that we sort of worked up to it, that I didn't come out swinging in that sort of respect. The sort of turn, I think, made it interesting and kept it interesting.
Absolutely. I think that this division to me it's the cream of the crop when it comes to just being able to access information. I think y'all, if you wanted to, you could translate over to IG just because of how your brain works. If you put your mind to it, I know a majority of Star Wars players would crush, because usually they like other dirty things other than Star Wars, obviously. But it's just crazy. I predicted Alex Damon was going to have 2 belts last season because I was so confident that he was going to translate well over to IG. Obviously, that call didn't pan out very well. But for me, it's all about the Star Wars players. So to get into round 2, I mean, y'all are just too good. What else can we talk about? You guys don't miss a thing. I mean, it's hard. There's nothing to critique here. It's just that's why we're showering you with compliments this whole time. You're just so great at this that it's like, John, I know you don't, you don't Star Wars like the rest of us, but you even got to sit back and be like, dang, that's sick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, you all were in the group chat when I, shouted out during the middle of the match, I got a Star Wars question right. How about that? That's, where my knowledge is I'm always happy to get 1. Meanwhile, everybody's out here getting 10 out of a 10 possible gosh danged points in round 2, which is crazy, especially considering that, Laura already got 11 out of a possible technically 10 in the first round. Just absurdities left and right. The one thing I could have seen that might have maybe, changed the tide a little bit is obviously Mollie did get Spinner's Choice after she had kind of spun away from her first option, which was Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, you came into this match super polished. You were leading after round 1. Was there any part of you that did kind of get a little tripped up when you saw that she got Spinner's Choice, regardless of, then after when she got 10 out of 10, which was obviously a little bit more probably spooky just to kind of have that confirmed? But just seeing that pop up on the wheel for your competitor, was that something where you did kind of feel yourself shake a little, or were you just like, who cares about that? Doesn't matter. Let's just focus on me.
No, definitely. I mean, I was surprised to see it on the wheel at all because I'd had this conversation like in the last 2 weeks where somebody, I think, we were in a sort of group and somebody had asked me, well, what are you going to do if you get opponent's choice, or have you given that any thought of what you'd want to do? And I was like, well, that's not going to come up because we don't do that in Star Wars. So it's not going to be a thing that I even need to worry about. Like I went back and I took some notes and watched some of Mollie's old matches, and I took some notes on things that she had missed and things like that. But you can't even really rely on those things because if she's anything like me, which I would assume she is, because I assume a lot of the players in this division are like this, the minute you miss something, you're going to go in and make sure that you don't miss anything that's even remotely like that question ever again. If you miss one vehicle question, you're going to spend a lot of time on vehicles. So it's sort of hard to even, strategize from that point of view. But I was really surprised to see Spinner's Choice and Opponent's Choice on there. I legitimately had no idea they were going to be on there because I don't remember seeing them on there before. And I'm like, oh, maybe this was in the rule book that I probably should have read more closely.
No, listen, I mean, I certainly haven't read the rule book, I mean, it's like they say in Star Wars, only Siths deal in absolute rule books and what it says in them regarding spinners and opponent's choice. I remember Yoda said that.
And there's only one rule in Star Wars, and it's of 2. So, I mean, if you got that down, you got the whole thing.
Don't talk about Jedi fights, you don't. That's the one rule, right?
Is that your English accent again, John?
I think it was a Yoda accent. I think it was a Yoda.
Yoda's British, right?
Sounds really similar for some reason. Yeah,
Colin, we got a team we must have. That's Jar Jar. I'm losing the thread. Bug, save me.
No, we just got a Streamlab for Laura. It's from Drunken Prayer. Shout out to him, my fellow Britman in the chat. He says, hi, Laura. Controversial opinion, but do you agree that Ewoks are actually badass? Invading Endor was the worst mistake the Empire ever made.
I think I would agree with that. And I'm sort of on Mark Ellis' side, and I really like Return of the Jedi. That's my favorite of the original trilogy. So yeah, having come into the Star Wars fandom as like an adult, that might surprise someone that I sort of like the one that has the cute teddy bears in it the most, but I never saw them before they weren't cute teddy bears, back when they were not special editions and they were really creepy looking and they didn't blink. I never had to see that. So when I came into it and saw how badass and cute they were, I was fully on board. So I would agree. They're pretty badass.
If Disney doesn't make their like Ewok Paddington soon, they're going to be in trouble.
It's just waiting there for them, honestly. Any moment.
The musical.
Oh, yes.
Some blue milk marmalade or whatever.
Yes, I am down for that. It takes place directly after the celebration, after the destruction of the Death Star, and it follows one man or one Ewok's journey on how to survive in this new world with all this newfound treasures around us. But let's get back to the match because we could do this all day. We could just talk Star Wars all the time, which
Well, we can joke about a Star Wars musical, but I would not be surprised at all if it happens in the next 5 to 10 years.
Lyrics
honestly.
by Lin-Manuel Miranda, directed by Dave Filoni.
There's been, I think,
100%.
generously 7 Harry Potter musicals. So at this point, there's got to be at least 3 Star Wars ones that we don't know about.
Star Wars Puppet Pals, we're looking at you. Bring it on in, guys. I mean, I'd be down to do it. That sounds like stuff. I've been waiting for somebody to make the, like a WAP remix, but instead it says, there's some porgs in this house. There's some porgs in this house. See? Yeah, Weird Al.
I've seen a Lord of the Rings one of it as Gandalf singing WAP. It's pretty funny, so definitely go check that out.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might need to go and like watch that now. That sounds awesome. But
should we just cut to that really
I
quick?
think we should. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else to do. I think we should just leave. Nothing else is cool than that on the internet. I mean, except Box, what are we gonna do if these Star Wars competitors just keep not missing questions? Like, I think one of these matches is gonna go like into a quintuple overtime. It's gonna happen.
Well, I'm gonna go straight to the 5.0 round 3. Colin, you must have loved that, right?
That was literally my favorite question ever asked. It was the best question ever.
Yeah, because
Kanan's my favorite Jedi. I believe that Kanan is the most like he gets it better than anyone.
I was like, who? Like, who did they ask about Kanan? Like,
I looked at Guy and I said, did he just say Kanan?
I was really confused by it too. I was like, he didn't just say Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah.
I also love Kanan. He's like, if he's not my favorite Jedi, he's top 3 for sure. Yeah, love him. Love Star Wars Rebels. So I was really excited to hear that question.
Did you know it?
Yes, it did.
Yes.
You know, and that's one of the things. Unfortunately, there's no way to say that without sounding like such a jerk. But that's I do know it. But but the thing is that scene, I think in particular of like the scene with the all of the Jedi voices was one that was sort of hard to memorize. I had to spend a lot of time on that one trying to figure out like who says what, because I even feel like when you look at like the captions and you read different articles about like who cameoed in this Star Wars movie, sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they have them in the wrong order, or the wrong person saying the wrong thing. So I had to spend a lot of time trying to make sure that I knew that. And I also have been sort of considering ever since it came out, The Rise of Skywalker, to not really be a strong point for me. So I spent a lot of time between my last match, which was in July, and this one, making sure that was no longer the case, to make sure that I was really up to par on that one. So yeah, I did know it, but mostly because I'm a huge Star Wars Rebels fan, and I was very excited to hear Kanan in The Rise of Skywalker, and that was a huge surprise opening night to get to hear him. That was great.
I'm slowly realizing how little I know. I don't know anything about that movie. I think I bought the 4K Blu-ray and I haven't even opened it. I think it's still sealed, and that's just sad. It's just sad. That's sad. I love Star Wars more than almost anything.
So I've got a question, Laura. So in terms of Demon Hunter against Alex, so in fact, can we just get your prediction on that?
I've found that when I go with my gut, it's usually the right thing. And my gut is that Damon's going to retain that belt. Andrew's really, really hungry for it. We all know that. So I think that's something to contend with. And I think Alex should be he's probably preparing quite a bit. He doesn't need me to say, you should be working really hard to prepare. He's probably always working really hard to prepare. I imagine his head is just in it all the time, since he does this full time. He would have to be. But I think he's always going to be a hard one to compete with, and I have a feeling he's probably going to retain that belt. That's my prediction.
So I guess a follow-up to that is, if he wins, how do you beat him?
That's a good question. I kind of have been... The more that I do what I do, and the more time that I spend trying to make sure that I'm prepared for these, the more I discover I don't know. And so, every single match, you just have to kind of go into it like knowing that you did everything you could to prepare, knowing that you know more than you did at the last match, that you gained some more knowledge, and that you were able to retain all the stuff that you already knew. And that's really all you can do, and that's why I always kind of think, I'm like, I really can't believe what was going through my head at Spectacular thinking that I had any chance against him because of what I didn't know compared to what I know now. And I think that's really going to be the biggest thing, is just do everything you can to prepare and hope that it's enough against a person who does this full time, while I also have a full-time job that requires my undivided attention for 40 hours a week that has nothing to do with Star Wars, and just kind of hope for the best.
Right. That's fair. Yeah, to me, it's just one of the hard. Like, I can't even fathom getting like how you just got to assume it's a perfect round every time, right? I mean, if you're playing a match, it's I can't even. You're fighting perfection. It's like that's how you beat him, and because sometimes, I mean, even if he's not perfect, most of the time it's because it was. I mean, with the questions we saw in the final at Spectacular this past year, Boggs and I looked at each other like, we host a Star Wars podcast. Are we sure we should be doing this? Like, I mean, I've never felt so like unaware of what was going on, and it was just a lot to be. Soul, any final thoughts on this Star Wars match before we kick it over to the second half of the evening?
Just that it was everything I hoped to. I think, too, that we need to give Mollie her credit as well with the match, because she played phenomenal. And it's just missing a few questions, which any other division gets you that win. And it's just that Star Wars is so tough. And you're playing someone like Laura, who is lights out, that's going to bring you the L. So I just want to give Mollie her due diligence as well, and that she played great.
Totally goes back to what I say about, Star Wars being the division where you have to minimizing error has to be your number one priority, because I don't think there's a more dangerous division for someone to be able to spin again in. If there's no spinner's choice or opponent's choice on the wheel, giving a Star Wars competitor another choice at the wheel is ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure they probably know any of the other wheel slices, but if it's singles, it could be anything. But for this, I mean, for her to be able to go up like that, and it's only 4 questions, right? She only missed 4 questions, and that still wasn't enough. Because, I mean, in a singles match, you could win only missing 4 questions. But alas, Laura, you walk away with the win, and I guess await the victor of the upcoming.
Let me ask Laura. So
do it.
if you so obviously you've got the winner of Demon Hunter and Alex, so that match is set. So let's say you're going to play that. Let's say you win that. In terms of who would you want next? Okay, would you want that rematch against Ace? Would you want to beat Demon Hunter again? Thomas Harper keeps calling you out on every after show he goes on. Which way? Is there any targets that you're looking at?
Yeah, Thomas is great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him play.
Mm-hmm.
These Dragon Con players are the ones that I am most looking forward to seeing them play. I don't know if I want to be the one that has to play them first. I would like to be able to sit back and watch them before I have to actually face them. I think that would, that's going to be better preparation. So I don't envy whoever has to go up against them first. But I think they're going to be the ones to watch this season. If anybody's underestimating them just because they're rookies, they're making a huge mistake. I don't think anybody is. I think the people in the Star Wars division know enough to know that they shouldn't discount that. But like, I took that placement test for Dragon Con that they posted publicly this past year. I did not do well. So you have to know a lot of random weird stuff. But that, yeah, I wasn't at all prepared for how difficult that would have been. If I had gone all the way down to Atlanta expecting to actually get on stage for that trivia match, I would have been very disappointed. So I'm glad that it didn't come down to that. But I'm looking forward to watching them play. In terms of who I would want to actually play if I had to pick any of them, Thomas would be a fun one. I would like to get a piece of him if I could. It would be fun to be able to take him down. I actually have beat him before in a virtual. We both ended up in the same room of a virtual trivia match, and I did beat him once. So I'm fairly confident I could do it again, especially how like studied up and prepared I am right now. That's the only unfortunate thing about this is like I have no idea when my next match is going to be, and I wish every match I had to play all year was like filming this week, because it would just be a far easier experience for me. But alas, here we are.
We did get a Streamlabs in from TUSA Productions. Shout out to TUSA.
Are you sure you want to read this?
And I just read it. You absolute rascal. Okay, let me read it. So it's a TUSA Productions. My critique, well, I guess it's partly addressed to Laura as well. My critique of the Star Wars match is that they answered the questions too quickly. If you're going to be right, at least take your time. This isn't a race in the correct Olympics. People like Boggs need time to process information slowly. Hashtag Boggs. Sure, TUSA.
I hope you are all gonna, of course, be watching right after this when we, of course, do our after show of the correct Olympics. Obviously, Mario and Sonic did a great job, and we got to talk about how they did in the correct Olympics.
We also had a great comment.
Trending.
We had a great comment from Nerd Chronic come in, nailing it, saying Mollie played fantastic, but if this were tennis, she was playing against a brick wall. That brick wall's name was Laura. So sometimes I'm used to play tennis growing up all my life. The wall always wins. So you do not want to go up against a brick wall. And that right now is what we have. Because, I mean, right now you got 100%. So, I mean, everyone's now waiting for you to make
the
that
only way
first
from
miss.
here is down, is what you're saying.
No. You've just set the standard. You just set the bar for yourself. So, I mean, and we know that you can get it because you've proven time and time again, like we keep saying, you're the most accurate player in the division. And that's what it's going to take if, someone's going to dethrone this guy. Because he's either going to Sam Levine-esque retire and then it's just going to be the ghost of Alex Damon. Right? I mean, I don't know, unless this guy's just really like, hey, I'll play Star Wars trivia forever, guys. I mean, I could do this all day, but we'll see. We do have some questions.
Yeah.
From the
also, thank you, Nerd Chronic. I appreciate the compliment. I'll take it. Brick wall. I like that.
Laura Brickwall Kelly, maybe?
The new one. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Just names on top of names on top of names.
And like I said before, let's get that hashtag trending. Hashtag Boggs beef.
And so,
I'm just sitting here. I was watching the show.
Last question about Star Wars, Laura, and then we'll kick it over to some Outlaw Nation questions. You mentioned the Dragon Con quiz or whatever. You mentioned it's a bit more. We've talked to the competitors of how wide-spanning it is.
It is.
There's been some differing opinions among, us schmoes that sit on our computers and talk about this. Is that a hindrance to them to have so much knowledge and then have to narrow it down? Or is it a strength of only having to worry about these 11, 12 films, whatever?
I've given that some thought too, and I've sort of gone back and forth. At the end of the day, they have to be very talented to get up on that stage and do that in Atlanta every year. So I would be willing to bet that it's probably something to enhance because that they know how to. That they have a system. If it takes a new player, maybe 1 or 2 matches or even a full season to get a system down and figure out what their schedule needs to be, these people already have it down. So that's one step, that they have above the rookies, I think. So I don't think it's going to hurt them. I did wonder maybe a little bit about timing. I'm like, if we're going to start getting closer to Dragon Con when they have to play and they're having to fill their heads with a bunch of comics and video game nonsense, that could be a hindrance potentially. I think anybody who thinks too deeply into that though you're only going to be hindering yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think to me it's just, I initially see it as an advantage because you're so lethal, and then you only got to worry about X number of things. If you can worry about all of them, you can only worry about some of them. So I think it's gonna be fantastic. Soul, we have some questions from the Outlaw Nation Discord to read to lights out.
Yes, we do. Well, the first one is from Drunken Prayer, and this is actually goes out to Boggs. He says, "When it's safe to do so, warn Boggs we're going to have a pint." So the challenge is up, Boggs. Will you take it?
So I believe he lives in Scotland. I think he said Edinburgh, which is about 8 hours drive from me. So he has to come to me. No, he's coming to me. So, but yes, of course. Yeah, no problem.
Man's greatest challenge. Traveling 8 hours, having a beer, and then traveling right back.
Boggs, what's your beer choice? What are you gonna drink?
Probably ginger beer, to be honest, because I don't drink. But
okay, that's fair.
Oh.
And then we got from Larry Lease. saying, if there was teams for Star Wars, who would your perfect teammate be?
That's really funny because I remember when I first started watching this Schmoedown, I was like, oh, this is a teams thing. Perfect. Because a lot of those matches early on were. God, wouldn't it be fun to play with Freddie Prinze Jr.? Because he like doesn't really contribute anything. He just is kind of there for fun. Like he didn't bring any of the knowledge. He was just there to be silly.
And then he can just whisper in your ear, Laura, use the Force.
Right? And I was like,
oh my God, it's Kanan.
Right? That would be, I just like, oh shit, that's Kanan Jarrus. No, but that would be funny. I mean, I've talked a lot about this with Alice, my co-host on Force Toast, because like, I always kind of assumed like, hey, if we were to do this, like we would be teammates. But at the end of the day, it's like most of the Star Wars players in the division, we don't need a teammate. And if we do have one of the players is ultimately going to be, you know, the sort of dominant, stronger player. So it's just one of those, I get why they don't do it anymore. It just wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, Alice would probably be my go-to just because I know for a fact that like questions that I've missed, she has known them. So that she'll always probably be a good complement to my knowledge, I think.
Why doesn't she play, Laura?
She's kind of let it go a little bit. She used to like be really into it, and we used to go to pub trivia all the time and not play against each other. The first time we met, we were playing against each other. But I've tried, and I will continue to try to get her to go into the minor league. I don't remember the name of it right now. I'm sorry. But yeah, I do want her to do that. I know that like Kristen has tried to get her in the draft the last 2 years. And she's kind of had some stuff going on in, personal life that has sort of hindered that. But I really hope that she'll consider kind of getting back on her game again and at least starting there. That'd be great.
My dream match is I want to see the Demolantas versus the Damons. Now that Nikki Demolanta is part of the Star Wars division, I think that would be a great match to watch.
Just exhibition it. I don't need to see it for real. Like, just do like the Force Bros and the whatever it was.
Right?
Yeah, just do Iron Man style. Just let him run it. I think that'd be sick.
I'd be curious to see that too, but mostly because I'm just excited to see Nikki play. I'm really excited to see like how does she do and how much does she know, and like I wonder if like her and Andrew like share material or does she have her own thing? Like I'm really, really curious to see how she does. I'm just as sweaty about that stuff. I'm really into like Mollie, do you watch Star Wars Explained to like study or like if you have a question, like do you ask him while you're studying, or is it too much pride to be like, nah, screw that guy, I'm gonna go get the answer myself, and goes and finds herself. So it's all video.
And then we got a question here from Canada Rocks. Ryko up in the north over there goes, Laura, you've competed live, in studio, and digitally. What are the major differences between each of those? And is digital easier?
Digital is easier now. The first two matches that I had to play digital, I was really nervous. Like really, I was surprised how nervous I was. And I was surprised like that it wasn't more obvious that my hands were like shaking the whole time. Because it's still somehow nerve-wracking just being here in my own room, how scary it can be. But it also works out really well because this is most of the location where I study. So it's kind of nice to just be in that headspace all the time. Being in the studio is by one of the scariest things I've ever done to this day. I don't know why doing live matches is easier. Being in the studio is terrifying. And I think part of it is because I kind of came into it really not knowing what to expect at all. It was like the most out of body experience I feel like I barely remember any of it. So that was probably the most terrifying. The live ones, for some reason, I was a theater kid in high school. I've done stuff on stage. I kind of, I'm sort of used to that. So maybe that's why it wasn't as scary. Having people in front of me, you kind of forget they're there after a while. Even in Star Wars Celebration, where there were lights where you could actually see everybody, you still kind of forget that there are other people in the room. Whereas at the studio, the lights are so bright and the people are sitting right in front of you and there's no avoiding anybody. And like there's a little audience that's kind of sitting off to the right and you can see them. So it's just to this day and probably forever will continue to just be absolutely terrifying to me.
And I actually had kind of a question similar to that as well, just kind of talking about the difference in the digital space. Obviously, last season, One of the only times we got to see you was in that like Star Wars tournament. That was sort of like the first thing in the digital age, which was like an incredibly intense thing to just kind of like try and figure out the digital space with. Obviously, there are a lot of hiccups in doing that completely live on Twitch. And so I was kind of curious what it was like to kind of be back in the Schmoedown for that kind of like off-the-cuff tournament last year, and this very new kind of still hard to figure out digital space versus now where you were like the headlining match of a the first pay-per-view of the season, playing already for a title shot. Like, what was just the difference as far as like vibes and nerves going into it?
It was way easier this time around. And, you know, it's crazy because it's as unexpected as, you know, COVID was in terms of how it affected everything. I was super impressed with how they handled it, with how everybody at Skybound and everybody at the Schmoedown handled everything, and how quickly they all seemed to like settle in to, at least from my point of view. I have no idea. Maybe it was chaos behind the scenes. I have no idea, but it all looked very smooth and seamless to me. So I will constantly be impressed by that, even from the start. It's kind of the same thing even now. It's as smooth running as it ever seemed to me, at least from that point of view. And then even when I was in the studio, I felt the same thing. I was like, this is a well-oiled machine that they have going on here. But yeah, in terms of like sort of the nerves and things, this is by far the most relaxed I've ever been in any match. It felt like a lot of pressure, I think, kind of going into it, thinking like, oh yeah, this is the first match of the season. This is a lot of pressure to think about, in addition to the fact that you're going to be, you know, this is a #1 contender shot. Like, it was just like piling on, but somehow, you know, you kind of get used to it. I was very prepared. We knew about this match a long time ago. Like, we found out about it a long time. I had a lot of time, almost to the point where it was too much time to prepare. Because then I was like, you know, I do study sessions with various people, and I'm like, oh, cool. I remember nothing about the prequels because I was studying that back in December. So I had to do a really, you know, thorough deep dive into a lot of that stuff to be like, okay, yeah, now I feel more settled and more ready for this. But it was I spent a lot of time preparing over the last, you know, X amount of months. I think that contributed to a lot of it. I felt more prepared for this match than probably any other I have ever played.
Hell yeah, I get it. I also don't remember anything from the prequels because I, of course, last was studying them in December. That's why I don't remember what happened in the movies that I haven't seen.
So it's not that you haven't seen them, John. It's that.
What's up?
Okay. Yeah, no, nothing. I think
no,
I
it's
got
fine.
Bad connection. Yeah, nothing.
We actually have a pretty awesome question here to Streamlabs from our buddy Matt, the Master Thomas. Got to show support from our boys. Congrats on the win, Laura. Well deserved. My question for you is, what is your favorite lightsaber fight? And I wonder what make him bring that up, Bonds.
Yeah, we'll go with that later. But yeah,
man,
go ahead, Laura.
I gave you this.
That's a tough one. I mean, I think probably my favorite lightsaber fight is got to be in the Clone Wars animated series. That show, if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't taken the time to sit and watch that show, I highly recommend it, especially if you're like me and you're in a cold place and you have nothing but time, especially on the weekends, to not go anywhere and just sit at home. Watch the Clone Wars. Because there's a couple of really great lightsaber fights in that, and there's, I think, a really good one with Pre Vizsla, who has the Darksaber in that era, and Maul, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's a solid one. Ahsoka and Maul in season 7 of Clone Wars is really good. The animated stuff probably takes the cake for me in terms of lightsaber. You know, they can do so much more in that sort of format. So, and I'm a huge Star Wars animation fan. I'm an even bigger Rebels fan than I am Clone Wars. But Clone Wars, I think, really takes the cake in terms of the caliber of lightsaber fight that they have going.
My number 5, we did the segue I tried to throw the box was yesterday on our show. We have the high ground. We did top 5 lightsaber battles, and Matt joined us, so it was nice that he dropped the question to you. My number 5 was Savage and Maul versus Darth Sidious, and that to me is just like, it's the only time you see Sidious at full tilt. He's like, full angry dad mode, trying to put Maul down, trying to tell him like, listen, Not your time, son. Sit down. I'm in charge. I'm
Epic.
still in charge. I love it. That's great. I think we have some Outlaw Nation patrons waiting in the lobby to come on in and ask Laura Kelly some questions. So, no, John, are they not in your...
There's someone in there.
There's somewhere out there?
Should they not?
Is it Yoda? Is it English
I thought
Yoda?
they knocked. Did they... Nope, not in there. Okay.
He's not happy. We should not talk to that guy.
Well, there's no one else I'd rather have be the first question than my personal arch nemesis in Star Wars trivia. It's Brennan. Bring him in.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome
Hello,
to the
Brennan.
show, sir.
Laura,
He's our reigning
congratulations
IG
yesterday.
and Star Wars champion right now.
Nice. That's amazing. Hi,
Congratulations,
Brennan.
Laura.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really
Excellent
appreciate
victory
that.
yesterday.
Thank you.
So-
it was hard earned. I promise I worked really hard for it.
Yes, yes. I wanted you to win, by the way.
Thank you. I also wanted that.
Right. So you said you were sort of fairly new to Star Wars.
I am, yeah. I came into the fandom really through Star Wars Rebels for the most part. That was kind of where I started for some weird
That's a
reason.
good place to start.
Yeah. That was I still think of that as my Star Wars. But yeah, I am a fairly new member of the fandom.
So what was the moment watching the Star Wars, anything Star Wars, where you realized this is something more than just a silly space opera?
It's a great question. For me, it was the Force Awakens trailer was the first thing that really like forced me to actually go and sit and watch all of the movies, because I'd seen the Phantom Menace when I was a kid, and that like really didn't like do anything for me at the time. But when I saw the Force Awakens like trailer, it's one of those like out of body moments where like everything kind of zero ins on that one thing, and that trailer like really did that for me. And really motivated me to like sit down and be like, okay, this is something bigger that I need to probably spend some time on. I've kind of always had like a fandom to call home. I've sort of moved around to different geeky spaces. But yes, when Star Wars really became that thing for me after that trailer came out, I was like, all right, it's time to really dive into this.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's all I got. So thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks,
you,
Brennan.
man.
I will see you later, sir.
Oh,
for some
yeah.
trivia.
So, Laura, what were those other geeky things that you were into before Star Wars? Scratch that itch.
Harry Potter was the big one. That was the big one for a long, long time. But like to the point where like through college, I was still really into Harry Potter. And when I finally got the opportunity to study abroad, my junior year, I like purposely scheduled it so that I could fly to London for the Half-Blood Prince premiere and like get to like see the red carpet and see everybody like and get to like watch the movie early and everything. Like it was amazing. And see all the sites. I went to like a couple of like some of the filming locations that were in and around London, and it was amazing. So that was really the big one. Funny enough, because she's kind of come up again in this space, like my first fandom when I was like 11 years old was Xena Warrior Princess, and I really love that like Lucy Lawless is having like a weird renaissance right now where everyone's kind of talking about her. I think mostly for political reasons, and sort of bringing her up in the context of like she should replace Gina Carano. Like I don't think that's gonna happen, but Xena was my first fandom, so that would check every box for me. Pretty
We're good here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a very large population that is with you on that. Be like, yeah, sure, give it to her, go. We are good to go there. I love that.
You should ask Boggs how he feels about Harry Potter.
Boggs.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really
I
good.
need Boggs. One day we're gonna like just do like a hangout of us, and I want Boggs to take the Sorting Hat quiz and just be perplexed by the questions. He's like, what the hell is this? This has nothing to do with
just get
magic,
perplexed.
nothing at all. He's like,
I get perplexed listening to IG questions with Harry Potter, to be honest. So, yeah. Anyway, who's next, Connie?
Next up is Canada Rocks. Come on down.
Hey, hello everyone down south on the border. How you doing? Hey, Laura. Oh, nice to meet you. And before I go, I want to say that when it comes to like character work and stuff like that, you're one of my favorites. You're one of the few that never breaks character, at least that I've seen. So it's like, what is it about the character you created or stuff like that? Like, how did you do it? And two, like, what is it about the character? What is it about you that allows you to compete in character? Because even some of the best, like Mike breaks character when he competes, and other people like that. But I've never seen you do that.
Thank you. I'm glad that it. I almost like sort of questioned it afterwards because like when you play matches, you kind of black out a little bit. And like that definitely happened to me last night. I was kind of like, after I signed off, I was like, oh, did I like break character a little bit? Like maybe I kind of did. Cause it's like when you win a match, it's really hard to like not smile and be really happy and bubbly about it. So I feel like, thank you. I appreciate that. Cause I do sometimes feel like I struggle with it a little bit. But I think for me, I have a journalism degree. I really enjoy writing. I don't really do writing in my professional day job very often. And when it came time to figure out what I wanted to do last season, when it came to character work, it gave me a creative outlet that I didn't know I was missing and that I didn't know I really needed. And it made writing so fun for me because I got to like just kind of create something out of nothing and make it as fun or funny or not funny as I could. And I try to strive at least for some humor in promos and things like that, and I have so much fun getting to write those. So I think it's been a huge factor in making this game fun for me, because the studying for this division is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and if you don't find some way to keep yourself sane, you're going to lose your mind doing it. Or you're just not going to play well. So it's one or the other.
Right. Oh, and it shows you're having fun. I think that's one of the things. Now, just before I go, so I'm one of the old farts that actually saw Star Wars in the theater in 1977. Nice. I was like 6 months old. I'm kidding. But I'm not going to tell you how old I was. But so being someone who came so late to Star Wars, meaning like so late in Star Wars and also late in your life, is there, like, when you talk to one of the old school fans, do you find any differences between you and them? And if so, what's like the major difference?
That's a good question. I mean, it's a lot of times that, that hardcore original trilogy love can be really overwhelming to compete with. Like, not really compete with, but like to try and relate to, I guess, because I like the original trilogy. It's not like my Star Wars though. Like that's not at all where I started. And so it's like, there's just a different mindset there. And it's always interesting because so many more people that are my age grew up with the prequels. And so that's their Star Wars. And that's totally relevant. I enjoy the prequels and I can find something to love in all of them. Obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. So I like them all to an extent, but I also don't really consider that my Star Wars either. Like I kind of came into it with the sequel trilogy, but then I didn't love how it ended. So I love The Last Jedi. I love The Force Awakens. I didn't totally love the last one, but it's even that I was just like, well, what's my trilogy? Like, what's my Star Wars if I really can't even say that the sequel trilogy is it, because I don't love every component in it. And, that's where like Star Wars animation really kind of lands for me. But yeah, I think that's sort of the different mindset that, when you meet somebody that approaches it with that, because so many people are just like, oh, Empire Strikes Back, it's the best Star Wars movie of all time, and I will not hear anything differently. And that's a lot of times how I sort of interpret how people are going to be when I talk to any Star Wars fan. I have that sort of like presumption that that's going to be their attitude, and that's not right. I should be more open-minded than that. But I think people a lot of times have that same attitude when they look at somebody like me and just assume like, oh, you grew up with the prequels, so that's your Star Wars. We all come into it from different points of view, and I think that's part of what makes the Star Wars fandom really fun. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest, I think the biggest difference is this, just that unadulterated love and appreciation for Empire Strikes Back, a movie that I like, but I don't like I don't think it's the best Star Wars movie. Honestly.
It's okay. I still like you. It's all right.
I appreciate that.
Well, Canada, thanks so much for
Thank you guys.
kicking it. We'll see you
America.
later. Coming on in next is I know it seems like
Producers asleep,
yeah, there we go. Now coming on in, Drunken Prayer. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, what are you drinking, sir? If you were having pints with Boggs, what are you drinking? Nice.
I don't know if Boggs even knows what that is.
No, you're a man of high taste, I can say.
Oh, sorry. Supposed to ask questions. Hey, Laura. Nice to see you.
Hello. I have vodka, so cheers.
Oh, awesome.
Hey.
Brilliant. I like you even more now. Before I get to the question, I just want to say it's really great having people like you and Mollie in the division, showing young women that Star Wars and nerddom isn't just a guy thing. That's the kind of thing that I aspire to show my nieces, my little cousins and stuff, just to show them that women can be into that stuff too, because I think for too long it's been gatekept by men. So
no, you're 100%
awesome.
right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I think that's for me, probably Mollie too. That's a big part, I think, of what we're doing, trying to make sure that we, are representing in a positive way, even if we are being heels. Hopefully, it still comes off somewhat positive. But yeah, just make it seem like it's okay to be in this space.
And to get to my list, I'll keep up my reputation here of asking stupid questions. If you could pick 4 people from every Star Wars movie to form a band, what 4 people would you pick, and what instruments would they play?
Oh my gosh. That's one of those questions that I would love to be able to come up with a really clever answer, but I would need time to figure it out. I would I've sort of heard Oscar Isaac and Daisy Ridley sing a little bit, and I would think that they would probably make a fun band. They could be sort of the front
Oscar Isaac plays guitar.
Yes.
General Grievous has to play drums. He has 6 arms. He has to play drums. That's it.
I'm fine with that. I'll accept that.
Mandalorian.
Like it.
That's all I have to contribute to Star Wars Discourse. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
I like your contribution. That's great. But yeah, I'm sure there are other people in the Star Wars universe who would be great singers and great musicians. It can't all just be the Biff playing and Figure and Dan and the modal nodes and Size Snoodles and the Palace. It's gotta be a little more broad than that, I think. But yeah, I would love to see Han Solo do karaoke. I just feel like that would be
Christmas.
He'd be so uncomfortable, but I just want to see it. It would just be funny to watch him squirm.
First date of him and Leia.
Chewie's in the back just laughing. Chewie bets him. It's like, yo, I bet you 600 credits or whatever that you can't do this, or you're gonna have to go up there and sing a song. He's like, no way I'm gonna lose this. I got this.
Yes, and no. Chewie in the band would play the triangle.
Yes, I was gonna say Chewie 100%. On bass. I was gonna say Chewie on bass, but yeah, triangle works.
He's just plucking.
I just like the idea of him just in the background holding the triangle, and he always plays it a little offbeat and too hard.
Yes.
Nope, Chewie. That's just too much triangle. That was too bad, Chewie.
No, Chewie needs to play cowbell. We need more cowbell.
Yes,
always. It's the only prescription. More cowbell.
Yes.
And Laura, just for you, I pulled this out while I was waiting to come on.
Perfect. I love it. That's great.
That's a time suck right there. You just fall into that book and never come out. Well, Drunken, thanks so much for hanging out, buddy. Bring you back.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Trivia.
Once again.
So,
thank you so much. And this has been so much fun. We've had Laura on, and she's just Laura. You're awesome. This has been great. And been waiting to talk to you since you came on and started doing the show with Roka, and you guys just do such a fantastic job over there. And
I think we have 2 more. Laura, you okay for 2 more Patreons coming?
Sure, that's fine.
Got it. Oh, we do. Look at me. And that was my private chat getting stuck and not updating. So look at me not knowing everything that's going on.
Wow, Colin.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm the worst. Who's the director? Bring him on in.
Yes.
What's up?
Smitty, what's up?
How's it going? Good to see you guys. Laura, Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm glad we didn't miss you. I almost missed you there.
Oh, it's all right. We've met before one time, so that, you know, it's a pleasure to meet you again. And I'm only allowed one question because we're in a hurry. So I'm going to make sure it's a good one. But Laura, since you killed yesterday and you're a champion, I don't want to know how you prepare totally because that's all secretive. But right before the match, on the day of the match, what do you do to prepare? Do you meditate? Do you listen to some piece of music? What do you got?
I don't know if it's the full day before, but in like the hours leading up, I will play like calming music. I've got like a meditation app on my phone. I try to use it every now and then. It sort of helps a little bit, but normally it's just like if I can just turn on some like sort of calming music, that's really kind of what I need. I would love to be the person someday that's just like rocking out to get themselves pumped up and amped up, but I need to like, for the time being, I need to calm down before I sign on to these things. So that's really been, I think, the biggest thing. My study, like my cramming schedule this time around got a lot, it sort of got off a little bit in terms of like not getting through as many movies every day as I intended. And so the day of the match, I still had like 2 movies I was intending to cram for. And so I kind of spent the morning cramming for those. That was most of the morning. And then I got the afternoon to kind of just sit and calm down and send a few texts to people and just be like, wait, do you know this thing? There's this random thing I randomly thought of and I don't want to take the time to look it up. Can you just tell me what it is? And that's, And
after you won, did you have a special drink or maybe a special food to celebrate?
I did eat. I wasn't able to like sit and watch Chandru's match. I was starving after the match because I realized I hadn't eaten in hours. So as soon as I signed off, I had leftover French fries and I had leftover pasta in the fridge and I just like wolfed both of those things. So I don't really have a traditional item.
Who needs Gatorade when you have leftover fries?
I was just wondering if there was a pint of ice cream that was there or a cake or something like that. But anyway,
you know, I have a lot of Girl Scout cookies in this house right now, so there was definitely some Girl Scout cookie eating. I'm trying to think if I had anything to drink. I don't think I did. Because what happens when I do these matches, even sometimes when I'm like recording my own show, I get really bad like dry mouth to the point at the end of it. I'm surprised I'm not choking on my own words.
You have some vodka right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was a full glass.
Okay, that's fine. That counts. So, all right.
Yeah, I sometimes hesitate to drink alcohol afterwards because I'm just like I already feel very dehydrated.
Right. Well, congratulations again, and can't wait to see the next win. And
Smitty,
good to
can't wait
see
for that next
all of
film,
you guys too.
Keep them coming.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Have fun.
Nice to see you, Smitty.
All right. Good to see you.
Next on up.
So the big question though, what's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Ooh.
I'm a really big fan of the tagalongs. And I know that they're called different things in different parts of the country, but they're the peanut butter cookie with the chocolate coating on the outside.
That's the best
I like those a lot.
Sorry, the answer is Thin Mint. Laura, it's been great having you on the show, but sorry, Sonic.
Samoas are also great too.
I was a big Samoa fan growing up, but when I was growing up, we called them Caramel Delights. I grew up in a different area, and we had a different name for them, which is weird.
The name? They don't make it anymore. What was the one that was the? It was like lemon, and it had sugar on top. Yeah,
I remember that.
Whatever that one was, that one's addicting. That one you could just go all day. Spring day, that's what's up. We got one more question for you, Josh. Bring him on in.
Hey guys.
Hey bud.
Hi Josh.
Hey, nice seeing y'all. Well, I think met you in the Geek Buddies, the Mandalorian review. But congratulations, it was awesome. I was like, geez, she's not gonna miss. You had the swagger, the whole 9. That was awesome.
Thank you.
And so I guess my one question would be, you can answer it as long as you want or as short as you want. But I always want to know, especially with competitors, what's your origin from like watching Rebels to being like the lights out that we know you as now? Like, how did you like, okay, this is when did you make that decision of this is what I want to do? How did you get involved with Christian and that whole thing?
I kind of mentioned this at the beginning. It sort of started with a Twitter exchange. He had posted something about how there was going to be a trivia event at Star Wars Celebration 2019, and that made my ears sort of prick up, and I reached out and I was like, I would like to be involved. And I don't think that he expected anything out of me. I think that he was just kind of like, oh, here's like a random content creator that wants to come play. I really wasn't expecting anything out of it. I was expecting it to just be a one-time thing. And I didn't think I was going to come back. I thought it was just going to be like a Star Wars Celebration thing. But it went well enough that I was happy to be invited back to come play again in the studio. But that's kind of where it started. In terms of like, yeah, my like Star Wars origin as like the fandom was like right before The Force Awakens came out, and seeing those trailers was kind of what kicked it all off for me.
Yeah, that was crazy. The fact that it was like you're like, hey, I started with Rebels, and now I'm like, and I see you with every time I watch a match, kind of like Colin Boggs said, like, I thought I liked Star Wars. Damn.
Every time.
Like, I'm
every
just
time.
Quit making me feel bad about Star.
I'm in the same boat with you, Colin. That's the thing. Like
it was really that match in Spectacular for me, man. Like I've really never felt like, have I watched these movies?
Right.
It was the way I felt. Like I felt like my 8-year-old self saw Attack of the Clones 11 times in theaters. All right, like this was some serious. Yeah. This was serious stuff. I don't know any 5-point Attack of the Clone questions.
It was when the first question, and I thought it was like the first question of like what was the docking bay for the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, all right, I should know that, but I'm out. Like that was when my cutoff was. I was like, all right, I'm out.
The 1-2 down from where Din Djarin and Grogu parked.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah,
I love it.
Can't wait to see you with the belt. So.
Thank you.
Calling
Me too.
it.
I think this is my year.
Yeah, I'm Babe Ruth in it. So call him a shot. Laura Kelly with the championship by the end of the year. It's a done deal.
Thank you.
Write it down, Sean.
Put it in the notes.
Did you get that reference?
I did, yes. I've seen Sean not write things down. He does it a lot. Laura, we have one more. He's a bit of a loudmouth. Are you okay to do one more, Patreon?
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Yeah. He's a bit annoying, so come on, let's get him on.
Oh, leave him alone. Bring
Oh,
Tushka
man.
on. Let's go.
I'm just laughing at the right
I
down.
thought it was
right
on
now.
mute. Sorry, man. It's tech issues, you know.
Oh, it's on mute? Okay, my bad. My apologies. What's up, y'all? Laura, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Feeling good.
Yeah. So my question is, why do you not like sleeves? What's up?
I run really hot. Like I gotta say, like I run super hot. I also live in Chicago where I have radiator heat, and in the winter it is ungodly hot in here, and I have zero control over how hot it gets in here. So for people like me who run hot, it's not a comfortable situation, despite it being like -20 outside. But yeah, that's really my issue. I am a sweaty monster, and I run really hot.
I got you. Because like every time I see you don't have sleeves, and I just thought like you were just like Hulk strength. I mean, you just went through everything, just ripped off those sleeves, and then freaking went, undefeated. Which you will do this year.
I'm just extremely anti-sleeve. That's just my who I am.
Anti-sleevist. Yeah.
I warned you about him, Laura, didn't I? So.
See, it's like a Star Wars conversation, and this man mentions sleeves.
Oh, it says, yeah, okay. Well, it says Boggs, the guy who interrupts the person coming in to ask the question, but that's whatever. Rude.
Sorry,
rude.
sir.
Can you two settle this later? I mean,
5 questions. Star Wars. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let's go. You guys can figure this out later. Tushka, we'll see you later, bud. Thanks so much for popping in. And Laura, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm gonna try to do this right now. You were just a blast. Now, I mean, we've only known, you and the Schmoedown for the last, maybe 14-ish months. And now you are a main stand in Star Wars. And you got backers here all around. I'll admit, I apologize for not picking you in this match, but I picked last, and everyone else picked you, so I felt like somebody had to zig while everyone was zagging.
Yeah. Coward.
Call me a coward. Hey, at least I owned up to it. Sorry, I owned up to my mistake, and boom, I'm taking it out.
Colin is very sorry about the trip he took to Cancun.
Look, it was the fact. Look, man, I was supposed to come back on Saturday.
No, for sure.
No, actually, no.
You had to drop off Grogu. I get it.
I had to drop him off. You can't hang out in Cancun by yourself. You can't. They won't let him check in that hotel by himself. That's ridiculous. No. Ridiculous. Boggs, John, Soul, any final thoughts for Laura before we get out? Before we let her get out of here?
It's been a pleasure having you here, Laura, because we love you here. You're welcome back anytime you want to come.
Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate this. This has been really fun, and all of the questions and stuff are great, so I appreciate that too.
Heck yeah.
Boggs, your questions were... Yeah.
I'll try.
We gotta get Laura out of here. She doesn't need to listen to us all squabble like children. Laura, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll be seeing you again soon, walking away with the belt.
Fingers crossed. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
I mean, what else you want, folks? Like, that's a killer right there. Yeah, that is a bounty hunter. That is Fennec Shan. I mean, she ain't missing a shot. And if she lines you up in the sight, she gonna take you out. So Alex Damon, bro, no offense to Dee Malanza, but bro, she ain't training to beat Dee Malanza. She's training to beat the champ. And if she trains to beat the champ, she'll handle whoever walks in her way. Like just like she handled Mollie. And I took the L on that one. It is what it is. But we got one more match.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, there was a whole other half. I mean, this kind of ended, and then there was a little thing called the Inner Geekdom Championship Match of the World. I think that's how it's described. Boggs. This match was slamming. It was amazing. Mara Kanopik going up against your boy, Chandru, the Chosen, Donapani.
Yeah, so well, before I want to get everyone's thoughts about just quick thoughts about the match, quick summarization. But obviously, we'll address it. I see people in the chat asking as well. Obviously, Chandru's not on the show. Yeah, we do apologize. Obviously, we did have probably a few dozen questions from you guys to ask him. And we did obviously promote all week and stuff. So we do apologize about any inconvenience and stuff and for him not being on. But like I said, a few scheduling issues. But yes, he's definitely not on the show today. But yeah, it was. So in fact, I want to go last. So John, what were your quick kind of summary? What were your quick thoughts of this match overall?
I mean, this was going to be an intense one. We all knew that going in. There were going to be some high caliber questions. And there were a lot of them getting asked, some that would stump even the great Harry Potter himself. That's a character in Star Wars, I believe. This was
he
an
pilots
intense
the
match.
Falcon Millennium.
That's right, and it was crazy, it was intense, and all that really matters is that I got more points than anyone else for calling this one and Laura Kelly. That's kind of just the main take. That's what everyone tuned in for, is to see me bask in my glory. Speaking of which, I have to run to the restroom, so I'm sure all of you will have nothing but nice things to say about me in the meantime. But all that really matters is that I won in great, and that would have been a great time to cut me right out of the stream.
I got you covered. I got you covered.
Gone.
So we'll go with Sol. Yeah. So what are your quick thoughts on the match? Did you enjoy it? Yeah. What are your overall thoughts?
This was such a great match. Obviously, I'm devastated as a swag fan because I was pulling for Chandru so hard, and doesn't get enough respect in this league. And I was hoping that he would come out with that W, but I just think this is going to be one of those other moments where you get that loss. Like the Kevin Smets, he got that loss. Don't tell Peter. And he's going to come back stronger. I just know it. I feel it in my heart. Maybe it's that swag bias that I have in my heart, in my head, but he's going to come back so much stronger. And then also Mara coming back after, 2 years? And yeah. I will admit, I doubted a little bit. I knew she was going to play really good. I didn't know she was going to play that great, because it was a 2-year hiatus for her. And man, I think Dan Merle summed it up, goes, I thought I was proud when she won the belt the first time. I was wrong, was one of his comments that he had. So I always love seeing women winning the belts. So it was kind of like either way, I was going to be happy if Mara won or Chandru won, but I'm a little sad that my boy, because he's not just Boggs' boy, he's my boy too, didn't win.
Yeah, I have spoken to him as well. He is, he's well, obviously he's got to, he's not coming on because, he was aware, we were going to bring in Patreons to speak to him and stuff like that. So he was looking forward to that. So he's a bit gutted about not coming on. But yeah, Colin, overall thoughts on the match?
What's up, y'all? Me and John over here. Picking
right.
the two,
I just mailed myself
picking,
my own personal trophy for
Nice.
just winning right off the bat.
Your own IG
sure.
belt,
because we picked the two-time. Now, two-time.
Well, we'll see what happens next week, guys. Calm
Two-time.
down.
She's back.
No, I
Two-time
got
Mara
the trophy.
Kanopic
Didn't you see?
coming in.
Oh, it's
y'all.
undisputed. That's it. Done.
She's the this. What do you want? I don't know what some of y'all want. I feel like some of y'all ain't even seen this Schmoedown when she was playing before. This girl had COVID-19 in 2017. All right, and she still played through the match, and she was a killer, and she knew what was up, and everyone, and I mean everyone, underestimated her. There was not enough support for the comeback that came out of nowhere. There were people in the IG tournament last year. If Mara would have been in that IG tournament, she probably would have ran the field. You know, it would have been her versus Mike, her versus Chance. It would have been some variation of those three. Obviously, they're the three best players outside of Chandru right now, currently playing in the division. She gave it her all. What else do you want, guys? She is it. Like she's primo. She's primo. What? I don't know what else people want. I knew I was gonna be right. That was the one I knew I was gonna be right on. I thought Star Wars I could take the L, but I know John. Like it was just us. It felt like it was just like it was us against the world.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things again where it's like I definitely don't want to downplay how good Chandru is. Like definitely, as much as Mara's been underrated, like Boggs has also been right that plenty of people have not been given Chandru his credit being able to climb up the mountain that he has and be one of the undisputed greats of the Inner Geekdom division. One of the only people who's held that belt for as long as he has. Almost went with a double defense. Dude is definitely good. But there's again just that question of like, yeah, when Mara came into this league with no experience under her belt, she beat the top dogs of that kind of era. So it was just that kind of question of like, all right, who's going to do it? Is it going to be the kind of like surprise phenom? Is it going to be the person who's just been like steadily grinding and getting better and meaner throughout? So this was definitely a tough one to call regardless. I don't blame anyone for going either way. It was just, it came down to just sheer raw knowledge, Colin.
Yeah, to me it's just like Chandru just has he's got all the tools, and it's just this it happens to everyone, People go on runs and the runs end. This is not like, oh my god, he lost the match and it's the end of the Chandru the Chosen the whole storyline. It's not over. He's coming back. We know he's coming back. It's just baffling to me that I just feel like there was too much going against Mara. And it just like I think we all kind of live in different Twitter worlds where I feel like most of my stuff was going the other way. Yes, Piggy.
Shout out to Piggy Smalls.
Yeah, shout out to Piggy Smalls.
Right, let's go through the match, guys. Let's go through the match. Okay, so first of all,
okay, Dad.
I would have liked, they dropped the new categories on backstage. I would have liked to have known that before. Because I didn't know they were going to ask a Jurassic Park question, or I didn't know these kind of questions. So if I knew that they were going to ask Chandru a Jurassic Park question or swashbuckling stuff, I would have maybe rethought my thing, because this is a different game from last year. This is a different IG from last year, right? With all these 70 or 80 new movies that we've got. So I would have liked to have known that beforehand. We made our predictions last Saturday and we didn't find out until Thursday. Well, yeah. Okay, so. We'll get into the match, obviously. John, do you want to take us through round one?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely we can talk a little bit about swashbuckling adventure movies later, as well as then the other round two category that we got. But this was another one where it was kind of, when you watch matches like this, you do kind of watch the first round with a certain degree of intensity, because at the very least you're expecting one perfect round. And it's sort of that idea of all right, who's getting cut first, as Colin loves to say. Which competitor is going to draw first blood, which person is going to get that 1 to 2 point advantage. But we didn't have any perfect rounds because each competitor missed a question. Chandru missed the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World question, and then Mara missed the Son of the Mask question, which meant that we were coming out of this 9-9. Neither competitor managing to hit a perfect round, but neither competitor looking weak in any sense of the word or the phrase. So it was an intense round one. Maybe not in the way that we expected, but definitely intense, Boggs.
Yeah, so, the one comment, the one negative I will say about this match is, for example, in the Star Wars match, like Christian and Mark said, you can feel the intensity. I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't feel that intense this match. I don't know why. I know it was a close match, but there's just some, I think, in a title match, again, my experience is different to your guys. So this match comes on 3 a.m. for me. And if I'm going to stay up that time, I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to be like, oh my God, did you see that? I didn't really get that, to be honest. All match, I didn't really get it. I mean, everyone was kind of really respectful and just kind of answering the questions. And yeah, it flowed really well, but I was like not on the edge of my seat, not like, oh my God, like other IG matches like we had last year or the IG matches Mara's been in. It was okay. I know this is getting kind of loads of, credence about what a great match it is. And yes, score-wise, like I felt trivia-wise, yes, it's a great match. But entertainment-wise, it was okay. Like I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. But
no, I'm with you.
Colin, what your
I really feel that it was what Chandru brought with him into the match, and it seemed to be more respect for this opponent than any other opponent he's faced. And unfortunately, that's not his game. And I don't mean to say this disrespectfully.
I totally agree, Colin.
And I'm making this the American football comparison. Don't start running the ball if you've been throwing it the entire time. If you've been throwing the ball the entire time and then suddenly you get to the playoffs and you're like, let's just start running the ball and see what happens. No, keep throwing that thing. Keep throwing the ball. Keep doing what got you there. I'm sorry, Boggs. I wanted a minute and a half more dancing. I wanted more dancing. I wanted him to shove it in my face more because that's what you love. That's what this dude is. He is a killer. He comes in there and he imposes the mood on his opponents, and he allowed Mara to dictate the pace of this game.
He was too nice all match for me. I completely agree with what you said there. Like there was, I noticed a lot of commentary about this, like to say,
he's also dressed up like Frodo.
Yeah, I didn't get that question. I never understood it.
Was it Frodo? Am I wrong? Was it a Hobbit? I think it was a Hobbit.
I thought it was like
just
Robin
a
Hood
cape.
or something. Yeah,
it was simply a cape.
But we know, like,
you sure you ain't a Hobbit?
Who knows? I still generally don't know what that was. But because he didn't even comment on it or anything.
Look,
no,
Tushka, I'm a Ravens fan. We suddenly started throwing the ball in the playoffs. Speak on me, baby. I'm literally sitting here in pain. Where the Ravens at?
Yeah, before I give it to Saul, I just want to say that he got under Smets's skin. He didn't really get under Chance's skin, but he got under Shannon's skin and Mike's skin. And then when it comes to Mara, he's just overly respectful and nice. And it threw me off a little bit. Like, oh, okay, like because there was this notion of, oh, you can't do that to Mara. She's too good of a player to fall for. Well, I'm sorry, guys, but we've seen her get rattled in matches. We've seen her against Kalinowski. In that studio match, she literally got rattled. So, like, I would have liked to have seen him do that. Like, that's the thing that you do. And yeah. But like, he didn't do it. I was a bit surprised. It did throw me off a little bit because that's his. It's a gimmick. Okay, would I do it? Maybe not, but it works for him. And I didn't see him do that. But so what are your thoughts on round one?
I think pretty much echoing what you guys are saying, that it was one of those where I'm a Chandru fan, so watching it felt different this entire match, watching Chandru, not just round one, but the entire match, watching the way. I agree he was a little too nice. I agreed like there was something off with Chandru in this match. And I was like, I think I'm going to lose and not get this point. The more further and further this match went, and I just didn't feel good about it watching.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just she was so good of an opponent or what. But I just noticed he was slightly out of character. I'm not actually talking about his character work. I just thought his overall mind games and his behavior was not as his antics weren't there, and that's why I think that matched the entertainment thing for me. It was like it was okay, and like I like when he wears his wig or does the makeup or dancing, like he's throwing his opponents off. I like that stuff. Like, I tell you every week, John, I love when Jeff does that kind of stuff and shouts and throws people and shouts at Roxy when she's off screen. Like I like that kind of stuff. And Chandru does it, and he didn't do it yesterday, and I was a bit shocked by it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I did kind of tense up a little bit, obviously, at the Mara Mike situation, because obviously there are other elements to that as well, where it's like, ooh, let's actually not replicate everything that happened with that match. Yeah. But you are correct that there's definitely, that kind of question of character and sort of the way that people approach their opponents differently. And I think sort of, yeah, there is that kind of championship mentality with Mara where she's just a very different kind of competitor. I think if you kind of compare her to a lot of the people that Chandru was more comfortable going up against, folks like Brandon Hanna, folks like Chance, who are a little bit more kind of like in their own villain bag in a way, where they're kind of coming in as like the villain of like, I'm the best. And then Chandru's like, no, you're not. Just simply sit down. Well, even when you go up against someone like Smets, whose whole thing is, again, kind of like this just absolute, just smashing monster of competitor, when you go up against someone like Mara, who's just, you know, chilling, sitting back, cracking wise, like, there is that sort of a question of, like, yeah, he definitely was acting different, but there is also that question of, would the antics that he normally does even work against this kind of a competitor? It's something that we'll not know until they face off again, obviously, you know. We can't really spend all this time talking about hypothetical questions. That's not going to be nearly as interesting as talking about what happened in round 2, and I can do that. Or, Boggs, you know a lot of this stuff a little bit better than me. If you want to take it away, floor is
go
yours.
ahead. I just want to highlight James Kimmel comment in the chat. Yeah, I think maybe that was a potential reason, but yeah, John, just to confirm, like, I would have liked to have seen it. I don't know if it would have worked or not, but it's worked for him in the past. I just would have liked to see it. But yeah, please go ahead with round 2.
Fair enough. Well, the Schmoedown has spoken. Pirates are for nerds, gang. Sorry to say, if you like, pirates are all nerds. Every single pirate is a dork, apparently. This category of swashbuckling adventure, which was a little bit of a kind of tough category to wrap my mind around personally. Obviously, you know, we're looking at these new categories.
It sounds like a singles category. I just got to say it off the bat. It sounds like a singles category.
You're not wrong.
It's a bit ridiculous. I'm not even gonna front about it. Like, what, John? Do you have any inkling what movies were mentioned that were not Indiana Jones or
Pirates of the Caribbean, Zorro, and then oh man, I like this category just because of Pirates of the Caribbean. But I will agree with that statement, Colin, that I think I would like to see it more in singles than in IG.
Because Indiana Jones is his own category. If you're gonna bring in Indiana Jones, let Indiana Jones be Indiana Jones. Like, is the Indiana Jones category, does it exist now? I don't know.
And we've seen categories being taken out of IG before. Like James Bond used to be in IG,
that
and
was
is
Mike
no longer.
Kalinowski's fault.
Yeah, and I can see, like, does Indiana Jones need to be in IG?
I don't know. George Lucas made it. So.
Yeah.
yeah. Indiana Jones does, but it was cool when it was Indiana Jones, and it was like, cool, focus on these 5 movies. But to the same sense that if you're going to start bringing in Pirates of the Caribbean movies, prove to me that Pirates of the Caribbean movies are more or less nerdy than Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, and it's saying Lone Ranger. Soda in the chat is saying Lone Ranger is also part of that. Leo Logan saying the Phantom is part of it as well.
Those people wear masks. That's obvious.
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has what?
Has their own category now.
And
yes.
what do they wear? They wear masks. That's what it is. We cracked it. If you wear a mask, you're nerdy.
Do you know how annoying it is for these guys that they have to go TMNT 2014? Like,
oh yeah, and Tushka again. Transformers has their own category now.
Well, you know, obviously Indiana Jones
that's there for Roka.
For sure. Yeah, Indiana Jones obviously has been a part of the inner geekdom world for a little bit now, and that was the one question that Mara missed in her round 2. She missed the Temple of Doom Dynasty question, which, to be fair, is a tough one. And Chandru also wasn't able to steal it. You know, that might have been the moment where, like, he could have really gotten that momentum up. Didn't quite happen, so Mara had 8 out of a possible 10 points coming out of round 2. And then Chandru, he spun away from Superman, which is, again, I believe, a new category just as far as, like, signifying specifically Superman movies, and got graphic novel which this is one that I think is a lot more interesting. Because, obviously, you know, you're talking about comics, that stuff I love to read, so it makes sense. On the other hand, if we start making graphic novel inner geekdom category,
Road to Perdition,
there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. I don't know if y'all remember that movie, like My Friend Dahmer. That's based off of a comic book. So there's a lot of interesting stuff like that. Like, are we going to have to start asking questions about the Woody Harrelson indie movie Wilson? Because that's based off of a comic too. So I'm really interested to see the implications of where this round, this category goes.
Waiting for the Peanuts movie to show up.
Yeah, it could. What's interesting is that the implications as far as this round went was that Chandru wound up behind. The defending champion only got a 7 out of a possible 10 points. He also missed the history of violence multiple choice question. Only one that he missed. And Mara didn't manage to steal it. Yeah, much like the Temple of Doom Dynasty question. It's a tough question. Neither one of them were able to pull it. But Chandru just had to also go to multiple choice one more time than Mara did. So it wound up that Mara had that 1 point lead, which, you know, it's always fascinating to see. Because sometimes the 1 point lead doesn't mean a ding-dong thing. And sometimes it means everything. Boggs.
Yeah, it just this is where the match is won and lost for me. So he didn't steal that 2-pointer. That's what it came down to. If you did steal it, it'd been a draw kind of thing. So yes, it was a bit surprising that he didn't pick that, being the champ as well, picking up a 2-point steal. You know, that's how he beat Smets basically, right? In terms of you know, the big lead going into the last round. And I think Chance as well, he did steal. I believe he stole something off Chance as well in round 2. So I was definitely surprised. And he went multiple choice. He only got kind of 1 point for the last 2. And he could have went ahead as well as round 2. So the opportunities were there for Chandru. So, you know, it was just like cookie crumbles sometimes, I guess. But, yeah. So what are your thoughts on round 2?
Yeah. When he didn't pick up that Indiana Jones question, I was like, he's coming out of this down.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that was his moment. That was his chance.
Yep.
Goes, Mom Spaghetti. He let it fall. Like... And that one moment, and he dropped it, and I was like, oh no. And that was kind of like the turning point of the match right there, is him not picking up that steal.
Yeah, you never drop your poor mother's spaghetti after she put so much work into it. How could you?
Yeah,
at least eat it and vomit it. You know.
I do love the that Oblivion question as well, because I love that movie. I know it's not the best,
bro,
but I've got a special place for it.
Where are these questions coming from? That was so random.
Well, Colin, what are your thoughts? Round 2.
It was all random. I've never felt so like my brain felt like it was in the taffy puller at, you know, that they put Mike TV in and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, oh, send him to the taffy puller. That's where my brain was. Like, whop, whop, all over the place. Like, especially when you do graphic novels. I mean, I started just rattling off in my head once they announced the category and I saw it. I was like, well, what could possibly be in here? I'm prepping my brain. And yeah, mentioned in the comics. Who is that? 50 says Snowpiercer. Boom, coming right off the top of the head. Road to Perdition. No, it could be anything. And obviously V for Vendetta, another one as well. I love the actually Soul. I think you would know this. Is the answer to who the detective was in V for Vendetta? Doesn't he also play the detective in Sherlock? I believe is the same actor. He's the guy who plays the inspector in Sherlock. So I think that's where my brain went with that one.
You know, I don't answer questions. I only write them. Colin.
I'm sorry. That's good. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But to me, it was a good category. That's something where I was like, ooh, this is inner geekdom as hell. I like graphic novels. This was cool. I don't want to put this on Chandru, but I think that was a mistake to pick Swashbuckling in a championship match, because I think most people in a championship match usually
Swashbuckling.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
That was Mara.
Mara picked Swashbuckling. Excuse me. Like going on to even picking it in the first place was more of my point. Didn't matter who picked it. The inexperience of the category and not knowing what it is, I'd stay as far away from that as possible if I'm one of these competitors. No offense to the rookies. I'm letting the rookies dabble in Swashbuckler, and I'm going to sit back and see what kind of stuff they're shooting there. But for it to be, you know, a championship match and for it to be a brand new category, it was just, we were all just sitting there waiting. So it was interesting to see it. It put the category in a high-stakes situation, and it definitely put Swashbuckling on the map as like, you better know it, or somebody's going to throw it to you. That might be the new opponent's choice. Throw them Swashbuckling, because it's basically mixed bag. I mean,
how do you guys think Chandru would have done if he would have stayed with Superman?
Probably rocked it.
Well, it's hard to say, especially because when you look at around like round 3, for example, where it was Star Trek, which is again sort of a lot of the more kind of like classic inner geekdom categories. You know, even with depending on whatever banner these questions are under, sometimes it's just a roll of the dice as far as what that one specific question is. Like, for example, with that round 3 betting round question, Boggs, that was another one where it's kind of like old school inner geekdom, and there's a chance to kind of take it back. It didn't quite happen.
Yeah, that was the best scene in the movie as well, by the way, for anyone that's watched Star Trek Generations. Who was captain of the Enterprise B. He gives up his seat for Kirk, who kind of comes out of retirement. It's a nice scene in that movie. But yeah, they both get it right. Obviously, Mara's bet 3 points, and Chandru bet 2, gets another point lead on him. And then, yeah, just going into round 4, they basically get 8 each. You know, we're not going to break that down specifically. Yeah, do really well. You know, they both pass on 1 and stuff. So, yes, going into the, obviously, round 5, you know, they're tied. But, yeah, John, takes to round 5.
Yeah, round 5, it's one of those things where, again, we've seen it before, where it's just going back and forth and back and forth, and it's just, there's that one bit of a lead going into the round where it's just big enough where it is truly just like whoever misses first loses. That's all it ever takes in a lot of these matches. And we saw a little bit of the mind games come back from Chandru with that Star Trek 5 question. You know, we kind of saw him pull a little bit of a Ben Bateman where he's just kind of like, how many repeats do I have? Cool, let me use every single one of them. And then just sit up in my chair, my cape flowing behind me, and answer it with confidence. But then Mara just comes in anyway and knocks her Batman Mask of the Phantasm without even taking really a second to think about it. That's kind of a difference, again, in just play style as far as what seems to be happening between these two competitors, how it is a different sort of match that we've seen more so from Chandru's perspective of having an opponent like that, whereas obviously with Mara, she's faced an opponent similar to this with Mike and lost to him in their second match ever. So now she gets also a little bit of redemption in that way as far as taking someone who is a little bit more of a heel in order to get back that belt. And, I mean, this is something I commented on again in the fabled TUSA group chat. But not only was I fawning over getting a Star Wars question right, not only was I very happy to see Mara just in absolute tears of joy calling in Dan, I loved Kaiser in this event. Kaiser was incredibly supportive and kind of... This was a dad. We saw Dad Kaiser.
Big brother.
Gods.
He was Big Brother Kaiser.
Yeah, I heard a few stepdad kind of comments throughout the match, right? But no, it's
he was a great stepdad. He plays catch with his new kids.
I honestly believe he was like this last year, but he just kept losing. Like that's all the difference was. We notice it now.
Bro, he's Bruce Arians. He's literally the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went from losing to the Super Bowl.
He's always been good at management, and yeah. So just quick. Mention obviously Winston as well. I want to give him a shout. I loved his "I'm Your Sam" thing, like a little speech, like call to rally. Yeah, that was a bit sweet. And yeah, and then yeah, I do love that Star Trek 5 question. You know, that's the worst Star Trek movie. Horrible hard question in that as well. So yeah, it's a great pull for him there. But yeah, thoughts around 5. So.
I wanted to just take it back to the betting round is that I was very surprised that he did not bet 3 because I thought being behind, you go big or you go home in this moment. And it felt really like that's where his mind didn't seem in this match. And you could see it throughout each different round.
Too nice, right? It was just too nice.
And then I guess like I was glad to see a Mask of the Phantasm question. That was cool to see that. And, oh, man, him with that Star Trek pull, saying just like Ben Bateman, or even like a Mike Kalinowski, we've seen him do that before, where he's like, I'm just going to drag out this answer. And it felt like he was getting that spark back. It's like he finally arrived to the match at the last question of round 5.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I appreciate that when they do that because I don't know if they know it. So to me, it's like, oh my god, like he's done it, that kind of thing. So I do appreciate the unnecessary repeats. But Colin, yeah, what are your thoughts around 5?
Stop using the Mask of the Phantasm as a trick question. It's a regular movie. Ask a 1-pointer about it. Anytime this movie gets brought up, it's a 5-pointer and people think it's some tricky shit. It's all of our favorite Batman movies. Act like we've all seen it. You're not going to trip these people up with it anymore. It's not that hard. It's a 90-minute movie, and it's not even 90. It's like 82 minutes. There's not a whole lot to know about it. Quit using it as it's like, oh, it's a hard 5-pointer. It's not hard anymore. People know it's there. You've asked it to, like, that's my only part about round 5, is that it seemed to be like a trick question, but it wasn't.
How much of the animated series do I have to watch to be able to watch Mask of
the
Phantasm?
None. It's a regular Batman movie. Just watch it.
I've seen all of the first 2 seasons.
Dude, it has nothing to do with... It's not even like loosely... It doesn't even loosely pick up on anything that happened in the animated series. It just is in the same style of the Bruce Timm animated series.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Dude, you should, man. It's on...
And when it comes to animation, DC like kills the game. Like, they
Marvel,
can't get their
zero.
live...
DC,
they can't get... 100. They can't get their live action together, but their animation is just
I mean, if you want to talk about a live-action squad that's doing very well right now, we have to talk about the faction that is now in #1, The Dungeon. Obviously, Swag picking up 4 points off of that Laura Kelly win, but now 7 points. The Dungeon, a faction call that I technically made, though I guess at the tail end of our picks.
Yeah, didn't you switch?
I did switch. I don't know if it went through, though. I don't know how much Sean was a stickler, if he was saying I have to wait to shift, in which case I might not. I don't know, but Boggs...
I think we should be able to switch each week. We should be able, if we want
Every
to,
week?
if we want to, we decide, are we staying with who we wanted, or are we switching our answer? I think we should do that.
I don't know about every week, but Boggs, what are you thinking about that, and what are you thinking about just the faction landscape with this strong of a start to the season?
Yeah, so, you know, that's... I don't know if anyone else, but, you know, like, any match now, any division... I don't know how much the points are, so it's like, oh, like you don't know what it means.
Yeah.
You know, if he's getting knocked out, is it minus? Is it plus? Like, is it 3 points? Is it 7? It's like, oh, is it 4? Like, I don't know. No one knows now. So, yeah, I'll just watch the tables afterwards. But yeah, yeah. Just to overall summarize the match, just my thought is, I am personally sad that Chandru is not champion anymore. You know, he is a kind of friend, you know, as well. But outside of that, you know, including managers, I think that I think there's about 100 people in the Schmoedown, including all factions or managers. Out of that, there's about 20, I think, minorities. You know, he's the only champion. Obviously, there's only 4 champs we can have, but he's one of them. So it is sad when, for me, and I think minority loses a title like that. So yes, I'm always going to support. You know, there's only a few of us in the game, so I do feel sorry for him in that way. But you know, he's done a lot. You know, like, oh, okay, we can do Inner Geekdom as well. He kind of represented well, so I do love that. I do love kind of Winston's end. You know, him getting emotional at the end and stuff like that. So I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, before we play any trivia, Sol, any final thoughts on this match or the league standings or anything like that?
Yeah, goes same as you. I'm like, oh wait, this is 7 points. Okay, like I was I need to go back and look at like the point spread and how the
Exactly.
I think I've got it figured out on my end.
Okay.
Send it over to us, John, so that way we all know.
That would probably be helpful, right? It's not like we host a goddamn show together.
No, not at all. But I'm sad, like you were saying, I'm sad Chandru's no longer the champion. I didn't even like think it in my head too, like him and like Chance Ellison.
Yeah,
where our minority, we're our minority champions, and as a minority myself, like I'm always going to root for the minorities. I'm always going to root for the women. So I just want more matches to look like this, where you have a woman versus a minority, or like the fact too, like look at the semifinals last year for Star Wars, where you had 2 women and 2 minorities there. So it's just, I love that it's showing that, yeah, all of us can be into these geeky movies, no matter what your background is or what your gender is or any of that. So like I said, either way, it's good for the Schmoedown, and it's good going forward that Mara won, but I am sad Chandru is no longer the champion.
Yeah, well said. I'm not happy with you though about the live action DC stuff, because I love Man of Steel. So anyway,
Colin, one movie, man. I got 13 animated movies that smack it around in the mouth. Like seriously, like I got to run 13 movies on the DC animated ones that are just bangers. Like start with Justice League War and go, and it's a great.
No, the
time.
animated stuff is sick.
It's
sick.
It's primo, especially. But I think we'll table, and guys, let's table this new Wheel Slices conversation to next week, because I'm not informed on what these Wheel Slices are. I know there's probably we need to do a bit better job of breaking it, diving down, you know, on ourselves and seeing
graphic novels. The 2017 indie film Wilson, starring Woody Harrelson and Laura Dern. Get ready to watch. Get ready to read it. Get ready to watch it.
I've already bought it on Amazon. I thought it was sold out by the time you did it. It the Netflix effect.
Oh, there was a run on Wilson DVDs.
The ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow effect. Wilson no longer available on Blu-ray on Amazon. But let's have some fun. It's time for Are You Smarter Than a Schmoedown Host quiz time.
Finally, we'll have fun on this show, huh?
Soul is gonna bring in a slew of guests, and we just have some fun. We're going to play some trivia this week, folks. Let's get down to business and defeat the Hun.
So for this, we're going to bring in everyone till we get to our Brady Bunch 9. Everyone will be playing in each division because I will be asking questions from each. So I might ask a singles question, and then right after that, ask an IG question. And then right after that, ask a Star Wars question. So can John get a Star Wars question right? We will see. I'm hoping for him. I believe that you can get your 0% accuracy up on this for Star Wars, John.
You didn't
I
have
believe
to give
in you.
the percentage. You didn't have to do that to me. You didn't have to do me like that. I'm just trying to see if I can keep dancing until we get to the actual.
So Brennan is coming up. If you are in the John Roca patron, if you're in the Discord, the link is there. Come on in, play some trivia.
I'm done.
Woo!
It's
here. I'm out.
Yes.
Oh, who you're scared of me? You scared of me, drunken prayer? Oh, yeah. So sad.
No, he's scared of me.
Everyone, get your whiteboards.
Everyone's scared of Brennan.
Because Brennan is a part of our Brady Bunch 9, I will be asking him the question first to reveal afterwards, and then I'll go around. He's the middle of our Brady Bunch.
Oh, so he's Alice? Hey, Alice.
What's the clarification? What's the Brady Bunch?
It's an American sitcom.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Junker and Prayer.
It's a story of a lovely lady.
That's the one with Betty White, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Who was bringing up two very lovely girls.
Golden Girls.
We've got someone new as well.
I'm the youngest in curls, I think. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have someone new this time. Matt Michaud, Soda.
Hello.
Goes Colin. He is also a fellow band kid.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I'm president.
I will say though, addressing Soda, it's nice to be on top for once.
Let me guess, Soda. I see a trombone player.
Saxophone.
Damn it! The trombones are the woodwinds.
He's way too cool for trombone, man. Look at him. He says sax all over. Look at that.
Yeah.
My Strad trumpet's right beneath my feet, right here, right now. So
nice.
You know,
Yeah, my
never too far away from
inside my room collecting dust. Unfortunately.
Boom. Same as me. I only busted it out for Game of Thrones.
I'm actually in a community band here. I'm the president of it. It's just for shut down right now.
Colin, you ready?
I'm ready.
Boggs, you ready?
Yes, so.
John, you ready?
Yes.
50, you ready?
We'll see.
Brennan, you ready?
The force is with me.
Soda.
Always.
You ready?
Let's get on with the music.
Chris, Drunken Prayer, you ready?
Brendan's playing, so probably not.
Enrico, you good? You ready?
Bring it on!
All right. So we're going to go in the category of action-adventure. What is the name of the skyscraper in Die Hard?
Spelling doesn't count, correct?
No.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, I don't think I spelled it right.
4.
Watching a lot of anime.
3, 2, 1. Brennan.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Correct. Colin.
Nakatomi. What's up? Sorry, the glare.
Correct.
Nakatomi.
Boggs.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Correct. John.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Correct. 50.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Put the emphasis on that
Soda.
syllable, baby.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Correct. Chris.
It's Jake Peralta's favorite movie, Nakatomi Plaza.
Correct. And Enrico.
I just have Nakatomi. Is that good enough?
I'll take it.
Okay.
No relation to Aubrey.
I mean, she asked for the skyscraper, not the plaza itself.
Okay.
In the category of DC, in Batman Begins, what item did Bruce and Rachel fight over as kids?
Oh wow, what a good question.
I remember what is that?
I think I got it.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Damn, that's a good question.
1. Brennan.
Was it an arrowhead?
Correct.
Ah,
Boggs.
I said a doll.
Incorrect. John.
I said the gun that killed Bruce's parents.
Oh,
that's later.
They both reached for the gun.
50.
I apologize. I need to get a better marker. I said a key. So
Incorrect. Soda.
Arrowhead.
Correct. Chris.
Nah, I got it wrong. A ball.
Ryko.
Necklace, which was in shape of an arrowhead, right? That's how they did it. No, doesn't work.
Can't take that. Sorry. And then Colin. Arrowhead. Yay. So.
This thing was really into Barbie.
Colin, and then
There's nothing
Brennan.
wrong with boys playing with dolls.
True.
Thank you, Brennan.
And
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Brennan.
In the category of Star Wars weapons, tech, and vehicles.
Come on.
That's Star Wars category.
Okay.
What does AT-AT, which can be seen at the Battle of Hoth, stand for?
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Five.
Oh, hold on. Hold on now. You need a 20 second to write down 4 words.
Repeat.
Hold up now.
I said,
you
know what? Give it to him because he was the one
boys,
whining. He should get it, not me.
In the category of Star Wars weapons, tech, and vehicles, what does AT-AT, which can be seen at the Battle of Hoth, stand for?
I've got this wrong. I know I have.
We need a new marker. That's for sure.
I think I got this right.
Five.
Yeah, me too.
I know I've got half of it right.
I'm so happy that I'm a Lego collector.
2, 1. Brennan.
All-terrain armored transport.
Correct.
Oh, I was one word off.
John.
I wrote all-terrain awesome tot.
Correct. 50.
That's not correct.
All-terrain armored transport.
Correct. So,
I had all-terrain automotive transport.
So close.
Chris.
So close. All-terrain attack tank.
Correct. Rango.
Okay, are you going to give it to me? It says all-terrain armor transport.
It's not transporting armor.
Yeah.
I meant like it has armor.
Royko, you have to hold that up further.
He's right. It's not transporting armor.
Yeah, I can see one lighter.
And then automated transition Aquarius Taurus. Nice. Tishka. And then Dogs.
That's from the Zodiac Masters.
I didn't have it. I said all-terrain.
If I don't get Star Wars questions right, nobody does. All right.
I did.
Right.
Well,
so that was Colin and 50 and Brennan because he's gonna get every question right.
Yeah, you may as well just give him the belt.
So you didn't give it to me then? No? Okay. All right.
I'll give it to Ryko and Ryko.
Oh, woo!
He knew what it was. He
knew what it was. Okay.
I'm just thinking in the present. I don't think about the past. The past is dead to me. Okay?
In the category of
you must.
Tarantino.
Damn it!
What is the real name of Uma Thurman's The Bride in Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2?
Jesus Christ.
That's not it.
It is not Jesus Christ. That is correct.
Do we need the first and last name or just the first?
Yes.
Oh, shit. 5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Brennan.
I don't know.
Oh no. 50.
I went with Poison Ivy. Does that count?
Soda.
Yeah, as I told you earlier today, I'd never seen this, so Elle McPherson.
Chris.
I'm probably wrong. I thought it was, her first name was Mia, but I'm thinking of Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wrong one.
Ryko.
Sally Song.
Incorrect.
No.
Colin.
Look at me, I'm Sandra D.
Incorrect. Boggs.
I said Eve Rose. I don't know.
And John.
Sounds
I
nice,
wrote Greg with 2 G's.
No, 1 G.
Beatrix Kiddo.
So nobody got it right.
Oh, Darren, you googled that, don't you? Like
Darren got it right.
Hey, I really need to watch this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good,
but
it's
the
good.
problem is make sure you have the second one available because
I have
the
it
second,
as a double feature.
Okay,
deal.
He
that's
had
good.
both
'cause
of them. He never watched them. That's the thing about Matt. He
Have
has
you seen how many movies I have? I don't have enough time to watch all this.
Then why did you buy them?
Because I'm a collector.
I feel sorry for Saul right now.
I know. Go ahead, Saul.
In a category of IG mixed bag.
Oh boy.
In the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what MLB slugger's style of bat was Casey Jones using in the fight in the park with Raphael?
Oh,
Literally don't know what that means.
oh shit!
What style of?
Yeah, can we get a technical repeat on that?
Do you want do you want the brand of bat or do you want the name of the player?
For the name
I
of the
want the
athlete.
name
that's
of
what
the
I was
player. I want the name of the player.
The
Oh,
name of the athlete
right.
she's imitating.
Yeah. So, in the category IG mixed bag, in the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what MLB slugger's style of bat was Casey Jones using in the fight in the park with Raphael? I want the actual player.
Oh,
Baseball player.
Ah!
Shoot, wait.
5, 4,
Repeat the question.
3. In the category IG mixed bag, in the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what MLB slugger's style of bat was Casey Jones using in the fight in the park with Raphael?
Mark Ellis' favorite turtle.
It's between two, and I think I picked one, erased it, picked the other one, and erased it, and I'll pick the first one. We'll see if I'm right.
Fuck,
I'll give you a clue, right? It's not me.
2,
Oh, damn.
1. Brennan.
Sammy Sosa.
Incorrect. Soda.
Use a Jose Canseco bat?
That is correct.
Oh,
1990, the year of the Smash Brothers.
That's what I knew it was.
Of course Matt was going to get that.
What'd you write, Chris?
Yeah, I just wrote Babe Ruth.
I did as well.
Right,
I mean, at least I picked a baseball player.
I wrote Babe
Baseball
Ruth.
player, I know. Yeah.
Incorrect. Colin. And Boggs.
I said Babe Ruth as well.
John.
Jose Canseco, baby!
I love how the two UK people picked the only baseball player we know.
Baseball is American.
Yeah, but none of you have to go to sleep tonight
Israel
with
has
somebody
their-
who he played on their team. Like, my girlfriend loves the Oakland A's, and now I can't go to sleep tonight.
What's
She
their
played
score
with Jose
standing?
Canseco?
Jose Canseco played on the Oakland A's when they were
Yeah.
World Series winners in the late 80s, early 90s.
When they
So
were
with Mark McGwire.
the Bash Brothers.
Yep.
Question
Which-
number 6.
yes,
The Willie
Tushka.
Island did a parody video on them last year, 2 years
2
ago?
years ago, you can watch a whole documentary on two dudes from Oakland making a musical about the two best players in Oakland A's history. It's pretty great. You should watch it.
What's the score standings?
Right now,
I'm winning.
I will let you guys know at the end because I'm trying to keep track of everyone. But
Okay.
we'll go into Star Wars heroes and villains. That's the category.
Sorry, John.
This is right. This is right. I just want to say right now.
What is Count Dooku's Sith name?
That's not a Sith. That was just his name?
But wasn't you
That
telling
sucks,
Laura
dude.
Kelly that you are expert on the prequels, John? No. You said you really love the prequel. You weren't lying to Laura Kelly, were you, on live?
Oh, it's,
on in front of the whole world. Were you no? Okay.
5.
The cancel
4,
culture PC police are after
3,
me once again.
2.
No, that's Don
One.
Harris they're after.
Brennan.
Darth Tyrannus.
Correct.
oh, fuck.
Chris.
Nah, I'm wrong. Darth Sidious.
Ryko.
Tin Man.
Colin.
Darth Tyrannus.
Correct. Bugs.
Tyrannus.
Correct. John.
You know I didn't write Darth Tyrannosaurus or whatever the fuck. So, next question.
Tyrannosaurus stop.
Oh, I'm
How
so
about
pissed I
you
don't remember that one.
pronounce in the video games?
And then Soda.
Earth Tyrannus.
Correct. So that was Colin, Brennan, 50, Matt.
What time is 4?
And Fox. Okay.
It's okay. You should only say it
I
twice.
think I may have got 1 point here.
In the category of directors, what comedic movie about the first black president is Chris Rock's directorial debut?
Sorry, I cut out there a little bit. Can you repeat that, please?
In the category of directors, what comedic movie about the first black president is Chris Rock's directorial debut?
President of the United States, by the way. There were plenty of black presidents.
Yeah, I was guessing.
President of the United States.
President of the United States.
Plenty of black people were presidents of other countries before there was one in America. Just wanted to let that be known because somebody would have challenged that in the Schmoedown.
You would have asked the other way. I would have known this.
5.
I can see the poster too with him at the podium.
3.
Repeat.
In the category of directors, what comedic movie about the first black president is Chris Rock's directorial debut?
I didn't even know he directed movies.
You're telling me there's a guy named Count Dooku who is like, you know what? That name's not silly enough.
No, that's
I
his
need you to
Christian
give me
name, John.
an
That's his
entirely
Christian
other
name.
Damn it.
I wish Christian God existed in Star Wars. Maybe he could set some of these dum-dums straight.
Can't pull
Set
it.
a bush on fire.
4,
Make someone attack a bald dude
3,
with a bear.
2, 1. Brennan.
I don't know.
Yes!
Rico.
I couldn't pull it. I couldn't do
Colin.
I said the roof. The roof. The roof is on fire. Head of state, baby. Let's go.
Correct. Nisha got it. Bugs.
We talked about this earlier, right? Head of state.
Now let me hear you say that ain't right.
That
No,
ain't
that's-
right.
Damn it. I would have got it if it was said the other way around. Like, who directed Head of State?
John.
Yeah, I also put head of state.
Hold on.
And then 50.
No, hold on.
Man of the Year is a good movie. More people need to watch that.
Yeah.
Soda.
I put Chief of Staff because I knew it was in that area.
Hey, Chris.
The roof
Yeah,
is
look at
on
Bruce, but he got the
Do
spirit.
you try to show me your birth certificate?
Show me your birth.
Damn.
That was cold there, Chris.
No,
That came
I'm
out
sorry.
of nowhere, and I love
I'm
it.
so bad.
In the category of MCU,
What question number is this, though?
this is 8.
Okay.
Who did Lady Sif and Volstagg deliver the ether to in the mid-credit scene of Thor: The Dark World?
Do you want the full name?
No.
No!
Okay,
Don't ask
okay.
such a stupid
Okay,
question.
Okay.
She wants the name.
Yeah, that's it. The nickname.
Dang
5.
it. You made,
4.
wait, repeat. They made me miss the.
In the category of MCU, who did Lady Sif and Volstagg deliver the ether to in the mid-credit scene of Thor: The Dark World?
Damn. No, USPS.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brennan.
The Collector.
Correct. Colin.
You got it.
The Collector.
Correct. Boggs.
I didn't know it. Didn't know it.
John.
I don't watch dog trash. I wrote.
What?
Get out. Why you let him make you like that?
Why do you,
50.
I had the Collector, but I also wrote Tenelier Taban.
Thank you for saying the name.
You're welcome.
And then Soda.
The Collector.
Correct. And
Doesn't the pink girl
Chris
say it?
I just erased my answer. I just put Nick Fury.
and Rico.
The Collector.
Correct.
You give the ether to Nick Fury. Wow.
The Canadian Collector.
The Canadian Collector. Yes. Okay. In the category of Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, maybe I'll get this.
Star Wars categories.
What
Did you
is
watch
the,
it in the theater? I'm sorry.
Damn.
What is the name of the creature who lives in the trash compactor on the Death Star?
You just said The Empire Strikes Back.
You said Empire Strikes Back.
And you just asked it a New Hope question.
I just asked a New Hope question.
Minus
Sorry.
10. Minus 10.
New question. My brain's been thrown.
I'll get a new question then. Sorry, that's my mistake.
Wait, did anyone know that? Or
No.
I guess
Brennan knows it. Don't play, Brennan. You know what it is.
It's the one-eyed monster to me.
Yeah. It's
It's
Willie.
yeah, no. It's a spreadsheet error. I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
It's the sockworm monster.
In
Boo.
the category Empire Strikes Back. In The Empire Strikes Back, how many cloud cars intercept the Falcon as it approaches Bespin?
Is it different in the different versions?
That's a sexy question.
No, I don't think it's different.
No, that's not one of the things they changed.
Oh, I'm sure this has been asked recently. And
No, but the burner effects on their like boosters
5,
definitely changed from
4,
edition to edition.
3, 2.
Oh no,
1.
this is a tie for every question.
Brennan.
Shit.
2?
Correct. Boggs.
2.
Correct. Colin.
2.
John, what did you
Correct. John.
8.
You're not gonna believe
Did
this.
you say
shit.
8?
I wrote 2.
Really?
I wrote 3 and I crossed it out.
So
I wrote 2.
4 weeks into
Everyone's-
the Star Wars question. Well done.
50.
Good on you.
I had 2, but I changed it to 3. So I'm the opposite of John.
Soda.
2.
Chris.
I mean, technically speaking, when I heard Brennan's answer, I wrote 4 minus 2 equals 2.
4 in the original edition. You get 2 out for them.
I wrote 2.
Did I ask you, Colin, already?
You did, and I got
I
it
did.
correct.
Okay. So that was.
Now it's time for the final question, if I'm not mistaken.
It's time, John Barr, for the final rose.
Is it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rachel.
this
Ugh.
is the final
did I
rose.
lose for this?
You're not the dance
Okay.
floor.
In the category of 2000s, who plays Isis, the captain of the Compton Clovers in 2000's Bring It On?
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. No!
That's a cruel question.
I'm so
I
happy I
actually
think I
need to
got this.
5.
Repeat.
In the category of 2000s, who plays Isis, the captain of the Compton Clovers in 2000's Bring It On?
Haha, Soul. This is a trick question. We have shared knowledge of why this is an easy question.
I'm so happy that my knowledge of shitty 90s rock.
It's weird. This came from MBA.
4,
And I probably got it wrong after saying that.
2, 1. Brennan.
I don't know.
John.
I believe it's Gabrielle Union, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Damn. Fuck. Damn it.
50.
I didn't bring it on.
Soda.
I put Eliza Dushku. I've never seen
Chris.
the movie. I
You mean Alicia
Hey, how
Dooku?
about that?
Rico.
I knew it. I couldn't pull it.
Colin.
Oh, you know, it's Miss Miami Heat, Gabrielle Union.
You wrote Gabrielle Union.
There's the next
And
article.
Bobby.
I was so happy that I thought I got that
Can I
one.
have it?
No,
Was it a guy actually?
Okay.
Imagine
so,
if there was Bring It On, but it was 2 male cheerleading groups going up against.
That's
each
what I
other.
thought.
Take that,
Yeah,
2020.
Imagine that.
They call it Magic Mike.
Can one of them be Justin Long? For those who've seen Dodgeball.
Yes.
It's gonna wind up
Whoa,
being
the
just Justin Long and
donkeys,
Channing
right? It
Tatum.
was the
Yeah.
the dancing donkeys.
One sec, guys.
Which reminds me,
Still
I
trying
just
to-
watched Accepted
So
again the other day.
Colin?
It still holds up.
Colin has gotten 8 correct.
Wow.
Boggs got 3 correct. John got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct. 50 got 1,
I got 5. That's my count.
2, 3, 4, 5 correct. Brennan
Got 8.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct. Soda 1, 2, 3. 3 correct. Chris?
Say what? Wait.
Wait.
I thought I had more than that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I
I
counted
think you
4.
did. Yeah, I think you got at least 4.
You know, let's still
Yeah.
solve the questions. We
I
can
think
say
you
whether
got
it's going.
closer to 6.
Let's see. Well, last time you called that someone else had like way more right than that was actually right. Let me recount here. So you got the action adventure correct. You got the DC correct. You got the MCU correct. Oh wait, yes, you did get 4. I apologize.
I thought I had way more than that.
And then
I thought I had more than 6.
Chris got 2 correct, and
Yes!
then
And I think I got 4, right?
and Reiko got 1,
4 or 4, right? Or 5?
2, 3, 4 correct. So the
Yeah.
winner is Colin.
That's right,
Of-
folks. Sometimes it is what it is, and sometimes you just run it. You just run the
Sometimes
whole
it's not.
game.
Sometimes you just look at the chat. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Just playing.
Damn.
But yeah,
Wow.
thanks
What's
everyone
funny
for
is
playing.
that Tushka called you out for looking at the chat box.
I know. Yes, I've just seen it now. So,
We'll grab you up in boats next time you're in when lockdown ends.
yes, absolutely.
I will, after this, redo everyone's accuracy in each specific division, so we will know who actually is on top accuracy rise.
Me.
John has fixed. He's no longer at 0% in Star Wars, guys.
Boom. What else? What more do you want? I think that's a win. That's a bigger win than any win in the pay-per-view last night. John Barr, take that.
Like the other Star Wars question I got right, failure is the greatest teacher.
Indeed. But to our competitors, Brennan, 50, Soda, Drunken Prayer, and Canada Rocks, thank you so much for hanging out, and we hope to see you here next week as we once again ask the question, are you
I'll see you in the
smarter
ring in 2 days.
than a Schmoedown Aftershow host?
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
we're
another
competing.
reason. Join the Outlaw Nation Patreon. You will see Chris and Reiko along with Darren and Josh go head to head against each other in a team
You
match.
mean you'll see us beat them?
Boom.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to be fair.
Go ride a moose or something. Why don't you?
Oh.
Boom. Well, guys, thank you so much for
later.
hanging out, and as we wrap up the show, guys,
Yeah.
I won. All is right in the world. And
I can't
that's
believe
all I can ask for.
I can't believe he's bragging like this. You
I
personally,
couldn't
you
ask
would
for
never
anything
see
else
me
than to host a show with my
bragging
3
if I
favorite
ever
people.
won something
Oh,
like, say,
yeah, you've
the
never
most
done anything
points.
right.
I would never brag if I,
Ever.
for example, won most points for predicting matches. You would never see me.
Ever. And I won't take this with a grain of salt as the unified belt holder. That was what this week was. It was all the rounds. Boggs, this was a fun week. We had a lot of drama. The league came back. Now we got a week off. I asked you this question, sir. What are you looking forward to this season after the pay-per-view?
Well, after next week, we're getting 3 to 4 matches a week, right? So that'll be cool. And then we're going to try and get people on who have played that week on the Saturday show. So ideally, that's how it will go. So it'll be cool to review the match with the people who are playing in the matches, and maybe do a bit of crossover with other people that have watched, who else have played in that week and stuff. That would be cool. But yeah, great pay-per-view. It's been really fun, yeah.
Soul, you got everything you wanted.
Yeah, more matches, man, because there's going to be so many matches to watch. I'm excited to see each division. I'm excited to see these rookies. I'm excited to see if these Dragon Con players are going to really do what I think they're going to do in the Star Wars division. I'm excited to see how these new categories are going to either help or trip people up. So
And of course,
see.
next week, we are going to review the Black Cinema Trivia match that happened on the Skybound Expo thing. So we'll do that next week because obviously there's no match to review. So we'll get into that.
And also probably get into the
great.
question of the new wheel slices as well, because I saw Leo asked about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. I think that's just something where the 4 of us will just dive in a bit more and really learn, because we were all felt, much like Chandru in the moment, taken aback in the moment by the questions. Obviously, if you're going through matches in Jurassic Park, like, doesn't show up, but now it is. So, you got to be ready for it. John Barr, what are you most looking forward to coming up this season? All the changes and stuff.
I think I'm just looking forward to all of the points I'm gonna get. I don't know where I'm gonna start putting them. I might just start hanging them up on kind of like the wall behind me instead of my hats. Might kind of like hanging them from the ceiling so they kind of like dangle in. Might give them to the guy that's in here. Let me check how he's... Oh man, he found the alcohol. He found the bottles I keep up on my bookshelf, and he's just going hard on them. That's not good. That's really bad.
That's bad. Make sure everything stays safe. But folks, this has been another episode of the Ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow here on John Roga's Outlaw Nation YouTube channel. Everyone, thank you so much for sending in those super chats, to sending in those stream labs. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Please like this video. Like I mentioned before, if you're watching right now, please wait a couple minutes, refresh the page you're on right now, leave a comment on the fresh video. Please go back, leave a comment. Let us know what your predictions are for the first week of matches coming up. We got a slew of them coming up. You got Jesse Swift making friend of the show now. Jesse Swift making his first appearance in the league. So looking forward to a little IG play. Looking forward to the singles coming back. We got to wait for teams. But the Schmoedown's got a lot to offer you. And so do we. Every single Saturday, we'll be coming right back here. Same time, same place, same energy. Bringing you the magic of the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. So that'll do it for Boggs, for Soul, for John. I'm Colin. And folks, we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, so now I know for sure that Star Wars happens in space. I've got that down.
You know, if it doesn't